Alright, finally live. Had a couple of internet hiccups. Man, I'm getting Elgato soon. Let's stop dealing with this. You guys have supported this channel enough. It's time to step it up and get the real streaming setup going. I actually think I have an Elgato. I noticed it might be a little old though. I might have to get a new one. But we're gonna start streaming for real soon. We're not gonna be streaming from console. I don't know. Give me a couple of weeks. I'll figure it out. But for now, we are here to talk about these takeover packs and what's good, what's not, how they affect the meta, all that stuff. Okay, so I did not know that this Galaxy Opal Scottie Pippen was a lock-in. I'm gonna say he's 100% not worth doing that. No way. And the main reason I would say he's not worth doing that is because, well, first of all, look, he's a 6'7" point guard. It's the card in this very collection that kind of spoils it for him. And it's that Giannis and the Chris Bosh. The Chris Bosh is, I think he's going to be a good card, don't get me wrong, but I think you're going to want to sell that card at some point. And even the Giannis, I do think there will be another Giannis because this Giannis is not an Opal at point guard. And we know there's no way 2K is going to pass up Opal Giannis at point guard. And if he's a point guard / small forward, you're good money. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think that, and if that happens, you're going to want to sell this Giannis for, he's still going to be worth value. Like every Giannis card retains their value basically forever because he's Giannis and he's just one of the most unique characters in the game. So yeah, I just don't think Pippen is going to be worth locking in here for so much. And even though most of these cards actually aren't that expensive, but the Jordan and the Giannis will be. And the Chris Bosh is pretty pricey right now. I anticipate his price will probably come down to earth a little bit. I mean, he's essentially like that KD card and stuff like that. But quite frankly, I mean, he's not a better center than Shaq. And I mean, we'll talk about Chris Bosh in a second. I think he's going to be a good card, don't get me wrong. All right, so let's see. So I'm going to go through everybody here. So we got Larry Sanders, who should be, oh, he's an Evo card. All right, so we're going to stop this right now because he's an Evo. I need to look that up. So let's see, what's the, all right, let me see if I can grab a Larry Sanders. Hold up, let's go. I still have some spotlights left. I'm not done with them. I'll give you guys an update on that soon. But if this card is cheap, I definitely wouldn't mind having an Evo, even though he's going to be, oh yeah, he's super cheap. Even though he's going to be a little undersized, but yeah, we can look at his Evo real quick. Oh really, we're price fixing it. I mean, I'm not going to haggle over a couple MT, but okay, cool. So Larry Sanders is basically a free card, and we're going to take a look at him right now, see what that Evo does for him, first and foremost. Bam. Okay. So score 20 points, 10 rebounds, block 5 shots. So the first Evo is basically automatic. And he gets Hall of Fame defensive badges and becomes an elite rebounder. So his ball handle goes up basically all the way to speed boosting. So that's fantastic. What does that go to 83? So he'll be able to speed boost with a coach, shoe, floor general, whatever you want to do. I have a bunch of ball handling shoes, so we will be getting a look at that. Hopefully fairly soon. Let's see here. His lateral quickness goes up to 92. Now you guys are watching a comic book artist try to do arithmetic, and I apologize for that. His speed goes up to, we streaming, right? Yeah, we are. Just making sure. His speed goes up to a 92 as well. Wow, his speed with the ball is actually insane. I think Larry Sanders was 6'9". I'm going to take a look at the card in a second, see what he brings by default. But he's an Evo card. Oh, wow, he gets Hall of Fame clamps. Yo, this card might be a dub. If he has a really fast Evo, this might be one of the cheapest, best budget pink diamonds on the market. Obviously, you got to play him at power forward. He's almost never going to play center. I'm going off of memory. All right, so let's see what the card looks like. Let's see what he's bringing to the table. Amethyst. Bam. All right. Can he shoot it all? Okay, so he can't shoot. So he's going to be pretty bad because he doesn't Evo his jumper. So he can dunk. He can speed boost. He's really fast. He's going to play defense. He's 6'11". Wow, I thought Larry Sanders was shorter than that in real life. Am I bugging, guys? I remember Larry Sanders. I remember he had a good wingspan, but I don't remember him being that tall. What's up, Cam Powell? So yeah, I don't know. But this Larry Sanders card, look, he's 6'11". He's probably gonna be. Actually, you know what? Let's look at his character model real quick, because he looks like he's gonna be kind of like, what if Giannis couldn't shoot at all at the power forward? That seems to be what he's building up to, or I should say, couldn't shoot a three at all. And I do think we're at the point in the meta where there's absolutely no reason to have a card that can't shoot. So let's see here. Look at his character model. We're not going to be able to get a good look at his arms aren't terribly long. Let's see what his jumper's like. He's got a nice jumper. Yeah, a real nice jumper. What's his default midi? His default midi is 79. You can definitely hit the midi. The real tragedy is he's just never going to be able to shoot the three at all. And some people play without three-point shooting centers. Now, I think if you put him at power forward, you can get away with it because you can match him up, you know, the proper ways and all that stuff. If he turns out to be an elite defender, oh my God, he has a 55 strength too. Yeah, this card is an L, man. This card is definitely an L. He might be fun. He might be really fun in triple threat, like just boogieing on people and stuff like that. But quite frankly, if you want a 6'11" card that's going to boogie on people, just get Thurl Bailey. He gets slashing takeover. He's got a fantastic jumper. I know his jumper is a little funky to release, a little weird, so it might take a little getting used to with Thurl Bailey. But I think Thurl Bailey is great, and Thurl Bailey is free. I mean, Larry Sanders is even more free because it takes less time to get 1200 MT than it does to go through even a single spotlight. But that having been said, yeah, I just can't see Larry Sanders being a real thing. All right, so let's see. We got James Donaldson, who, full basketball card on the table. I don't know who this is. I have no idea who this man is. Oh, he's a 7'2" center. Amethyst. Terrible ball handle. He's not an Evo, so that doesn't change. 85 block, 84 speed, and an 83 lateral quickness. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. 53-point shot. Yeah, he's an L. He's an L. Allen Iverson. This is a card I'm personally very excited about. I'm gonna grab. I mean, it's AI, right? So you know he's got elite SIGs. He's going to be able to shoot. That 89 three ball is already good, but it's going to go even higher with coach and all that stuff. Floor general. He's got the ball handle. He's got the speed. I did do a comparison with him to his Opal, and he compares fairly favorably for an Amethyst to an Opal comparison. The main thing is he has gold shooting badges. So he has gold range extender, gold quick draw, and that's I have to play with the card to see if that's good enough. I tell you what, let's see if we can grab an AI real quick. This video is not going to be a quick one, so for all of you who have something to do, I'm letting you know right now we're gonna get into it a little bit here. All right, so let's see, what is his lowest buyout? Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, cool. So basically a free Allen Iverson card he put up. I love it. And let me tell you something. Like for a card that's going to be 6 feet tall, basically. Oh yeah, so that's basically this card price. Perfect. All right. Like you're not playing Allen Iverson like super competitively anyway. Even though I do think you can go 12-0 with Allen Iverson. Don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, you have to be better than your opponent. Like if they're equally skilled to you and they're running Allen Iverson but he's taller and, you know, shoots better, then that is what it is. But that having been said, I mean, who's not a huge fan of Allen Iverson, right? He was one of my absolute favorite players growing up. We're gonna look at his SIGs real quick. Do a quick little Allen Iverson breakdown. Yeah, that Sanders is blind, man. Like you just can't. If he had an amazing wingspan, I would think about it. But just the strength, the lack of shooting is just too much. Especially at power forward, you can 6'11". There's so many cards, so many good cards at that position. All right. So let's look at what AI is bringing to the table here. So we see here 93 3-point shot after the coaching boost, 97 midi, driving layups looking excellent. Driving dunk is an 80, which is very respectable, especially for his Denver days. I don't know if I saw him dunk at all in Denver. Obviously, the ball handle goes all the way up. And rebound, we don't care about any of that stuff because he's only 6 feet tall. And if you're playing a 6-foot card, you know what you're getting into. Although I will say, and I should definitely say this right off the bat, when you take Galaxy Opal AI into Triple Threat Online, this is a major factor. So let's get this done right here. If you take Galaxy Opal AI into Triple Threat, you're running the chance of running into Galaxy Opal Thon Maker and LeBron James and Bol Bol, in which case his size is a serious impediment. You take Amethyst AI into Triple Threat Online, you're going up against other Amethyst cards more often than not, especially if you don't also carry an Opal on your squad. So this guy might actually be, similar to that Diamond Russell Westbrook, a better TTO card than his Galaxy Opal counterpart. So for that reason, this might be a really good card to grab. All right, so let's see. So he's got wonderful ratings offensively, obviously. Let's see what he's got for defensive badges. He's got Hall of Fame clamps, no intimidator, which would have been huge. But obviously, quick first step to be expected. Whoa, he's only got gold handle for days? That's disrespectful. That's a little disrespectful. He does have Hall of Fame tight handles, obviously ankle breaker. This is the Allen Iverson badge right here. Who broke, I don't know if anybody broke more ankles than Allen Iverson. Although, don't sleep on Deron Williams. Deron Williams took a lot of ankles, like, and bad too. I mean, put people in their seats. He turned NBA players into spectators because he sat them down on the sideline. But that having been said, so this card is just as fast as the other Iverson. He's got just as good of a ball handle. Obviously, he's going to have the same 6. He's got an 80 dunk, which is great. We're going to look at that dunk package too. And he's got gold quick draw range extender. So the main thing I want to see is how does that gold quick draw range extender look on his shot. So funny enough, at 6 feet, he's actually not the smallest 6 feet in the game. There's some 6-foot cards, so that's fast enough. That's definitely fast enough to get off with. Yeah, that's definitely fast enough to get off with. Yeah. So this card is good enough to boogie. So let's see. So Allen Iverson, he has this signature size up, which is very good. And remember, out of all size ups, you can speed boost immediately. So, well, not immediately, but you know, obviously after you execute the dribble. So, and you can also do any combo that that would come naturally after a size up dribble, right? So the thing you got to get used to is just what that size up does, because it switches hands and he kind of, you know, holds it there for a second. And let's see, I actually have never really used an Allen Iverson card. I've used the size up in Pro-Am and Rec Center. I'm not an Allen Iverson size up guy, although I understand those of you who are. So the thing about this size up is it has one of the fastest momentum dribbles in the entire game. One of the fastest, best, most, look at that. That's crazy. So for people who really want to spam up with that, now I know that's not generally the My Team community, that's there for you as well. So yeah, and the thing about his size up is very deceptive looking also. So you can really, like, you see the way he just kind of goes side to side. So he's definitely a character that can really, you know, lull you to sleep with that crossover and actually deceive you about which direction he's going. It's very hard to tell which way Iverson's going because of the way he crouches into his moves and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do a full deep dive on AI. I just wanted to see if that, see how that shot looked off of the peak. Obviously, you can look the same thing off the quick stop and stuff like that. And what is his? Let me see. Look at a few things here. Wow, that momentum is really slick. Now, because he's small, his misdirection isn't the craziest thing in the world. I said I wasn't going to do a whole deep dive, but it is Allen Iverson. I'm definitely excited to have an Allen Iverson card that only cost 1,100 MT. That's fantastic. Thank you. This pack is already a big dub for me. Nice dunk package, too, for a small guy. Yeah, he's going to be a lot of fun in TTO. Now, I think Allen Iverson is definitely he's high on the fun tier list. Not as high on the, you know, competitive tier list. But that having been said, I will definitely be getting mileage out of this card. I'm going to explore these SIGs a lot more. I got to really play with this card a little bit because, again, I'm not a big user of the Allen Iverson size-up package in Rec. I have used it. I used it for a day, and the main thing was the spamming of the momentum was cool. I also know that he has, like, again, these good kind of standing crossover deals are really nice with AI, but I have to play with it a lot more and watch some people who use this all the time to really get into the bag. So I might come back at you guys with a full Allen Iverson breakdown at a later date, but for now, the main thing is he's fast. His shot is fast enough. I would prefer it if it was on Hall of Fame quick draw, but it's definitely fast enough to get going. He doesn't have the Pro 3 size up, so he has no way of switching sides really. But what he can do is he can, you know, pause into the hezzy and work off of that. So what he can do is he can pause, back up, and then change directions based off of that right there. So, you know, he doesn't have my favorite SIGs in the game, but I think he does have great SIGs, and I'm going to need to take some time to figure out, like, the magic in those SIGs to really see, you know, what he brings to the table. But yeah, awesome card for a fun card to get at 1150. Rod Squad says that Deron Williams was trash. You are crazy, sir. The Utah Jazz version of Deron Williams was a monster. He got paid by the Nets and basically quit basketball. Wait, why did... Oh, I was about to say, it said to get MJ, Pippen, Rodman, and more. So that's what they're doing. Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's go back. I apologize for that detour, but it was Allen Iverson I had to geek out for a second. So let's see here. Takeover Packs. James Donaldson, trash. Allen Iverson, fun, but obviously not a meta card by any stretch. Larry Hughes, this should be interesting. And he's an Evo. What? So he's 6'5". So I remember Larry Hughes from his playing career, obviously. Ooh, and he's a wizard. I haven't done the wizard spotlight. If I grab this card, I'll definitely be able to use him at that. He's an 88 speed. Ooh, I hate that. I hate that on a guard to be below a 90 speed. Ooh, that really grinds my gears. All right, we got to see what an Evo does. Let's see if we're running out of MT here. But let's see what Larry Hughes is bringing to the table. Because we got to look at that Evo. I mean, he's 6'5", so he's not going to be a game changer. He does, I don't even have room for him in my lineup, to be totally honest with you. Okay, good. He's, oh, nope. What did I do? I did bid. That's my bad. Like, there's no way he would crack my lineup. Okay, but he's super duper cheap. Another really, really cheap card. This is actually good for my collector levels. For all you collectors out there, this is a W. Wow, he is really cheap. What is that? What even is that? What is that? 2K, fix yourself. Get your act together, sir. Why is there a blank card up here? I've never even seen that before. 29.50. Can we get 28? Oh yeah, there we go. Of course you did. I saw the 24, but it's just 50K. All right. Add to collection. Add to team. We're gonna get a look at Mr. Hughes over here. So Larry Hughes was one of those guys that was almost, he was like Nick Young, like he was almost a good player. He was just like right there, like, man, like you saw all these other great, what you call it? All these other great, like, dribbling two-guard type guys, and Larry Hughes always looked like he was going to turn into it, almost like a Jamal Crawford, but Jamal Crawford did become really consistent. Okay, so that's a really easy Evo, which is great. See what his base stats are. So he's usable at base with an 86 ball control. Oh my God, a driving dunk of 40. I take it back, that's not usable. Does he play point guard? He does play point guard, which is fantastic. He did play point guard, so that tracks. Let's see, he's a good shooter, not a rebounder, and he's a little on the slow side. So let's see what his Evo does for him. So this is big. All right, so his speed goes up, thank God. His speed goes up to a 93. So that means with coach, he's fine after the first Evo, and the first Evo is basically immediate. So this card is already looking kind of solid. His driving dunk goes up to a 90. So yeah, that's pretty great. His ankle breaker goes up. Handles for days goes to Hall of Fame. I mean, yeah, this is a super solid card. This Evo, you can do this Evo in, obviously you can do it in a day, but I mean, you can do it in an hour or less. Like that 23 pointers, that's one game. 5 steals you can do in one game. 20 dunks you could do, probably not the same game you do the 3-pointers in, but you can do that one. And the 300 points will probably take you, I mean, if you're doing spotlights, you can just run Larry Hughes through some of the spotlights, and he's done what he's done, just focus on him. But if you're doing it just to Evo Larry Hughes, then the 300 points probably take you, I mean, if you're really crazy and you're doing a rookie, you can do it in 3 games. But I would say for most people, it'll probably take about 4 or 5 tops to get all of this. So it takes about 5 games to get you to this first Evo. And he's really good after this first Evo. Hey, it looks pretty solid. We're going to look at the 6th, and then he goes to Galaxy Opal. And the Opal is just more of the same, really. Does he get anything? So no strength. He does get a little post-fade action going. So that's pretty cool. Wow, I wonder, and he goes to 95 speed, and he does get more strength. His strength goes to an 80. Guys, this card might be a W. He goes to Hall of Fame range extender. And I notice I don't see Hall of Fame quick draw on here. We're going to take him into the freestyle for a second. Whoa. Oh, right. The 20 dunks might get changed. You can't do it with a 40 dunk. That's a good point, Vincent. I appreciate that. Yeah, Spack. Deron Williams was not trash. Deron Williams was busting Chris Paul's behind, like, on a regular basis. Like, he was literally destroying Chris Paul in every head-to-head matchup. And it wasn't like he was garbage the rest of the year. He's averaging 20 and 10. Like, Deron Williams was phenomenal, dude. Like, he was actually, like, one of... If he was as good everywhere else as he was in Utah, he would easily be a top 10 point guard of all time. Easily. He was a monster. He was athletic. He was big at 6'4", ridiculous handle. He could shoot. Like, he was really, like, the beast. Not much on defense, but outside of that, who is, right? All right, Larry Hughes. All right, Larry. Let's see what kind of 6 you got going here. Ooh, he has a behind the back, like he's 6'11". All right, let's try something else. Okay, at least he's an elite between the legs, so we're fine. Yeah, he is an elite between the legs. Well, he does technically dunk at that 40 dunk. I wonder if that's a typo, because usually at 40 dunk, you can't even get it done. Yeah, he's dunking every time with height too. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. All right, let's see the speed of that shot. Ooh, that's a weird looking shot. That is a weird looking shot. He has like a sideways drift. You guys see that? He like leans like those old V8 commercials. That's weird. But it's a good shot though. Don't let the weirdness fool you. Yeah, and he's a fairly decent sized character model. I believe I took James Harden off this team, so I can't compare him, unfortunately. Let me see this character model size real quick. Dinwiddie is 6'6". See how he compares to my man Spencer Dinwiddie, who I really should sell since I'm not playing in this team anymore, but sentimental value. Okay, so Larry Hughes is a big 6'5", because as you can see here, Spencer Dinwiddie is barely bigger than him. Don't even look at the hair, just look at the wingspan. See the arms, they leap forward a little bit, just a very little bit. Yeah, this Larry Hughes card is basically 6'6". He's a very, so yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie looks a little bigger than him, but it's definitely not by a very big margin. Not at all. Yeah, this is a nice sized PG at the larger end of 6'5". Does he have Pro 3 Hezi? Oh yeah, he has Pro 3 Hezi. This card is serious. This card is good to go. This card is good money. And he got the behind the back teleport. Oh yeah, we in there with this Larry Hughes card. We in there with this. So I was thinking about grabbing that Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine doesn't have the Pro 3 Hezi. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my tokens now. I did the what do you call it with Penny? The Sig test with Penny. Basically, I bought the Amethyst Penny and ran through his Sigs, and I hate him. I hate like half of his animation package. So Penny is not happening. Larry got a little sore. I can't wait to see this card Evo. Y'all gonna see this Evo as long as they don't cheat me on the dunks and he only dunks in practice and never dunks in game. We gonna see some Larry Hughes for sure. Dave Bogdansky, what's up, homie? Should you sell PD Dwyane Wade for the diamond? I'm glad you asked that question. We're gonna go back to this overview here, and we're going to answer that question as we get through this. Oh, and by the way, I said I was going to give y'all the historic spotlight update. Here's just a sneak preview of what's left, but we're going to get into that later. All right, so premium takeover. I'm resisting the urge to say breaks over. I'm not going to say it. All right, and Dwyane Wade happens to be next. So let's look at this card in the auction house. See here. Bam. So we can compare directly. So the thing I want to say at the outset before we go into this Dwyane Wade card is probably very good, right? This Dwyane Wade card is very close to this pink diamond card, and he's a lot cheaper than the pink diamond card. So conventional wisdom would say you can get this Dwyane Wade card and be fine, and that's potentially true. Now, the other Dwyane Wade card, I'm not sure how much his value will tank because he is part of a set. So, you know, you might be able to get value. This might not kill his value. I haven't looked at the auction house yet. But the thing about this pink diamond Dwyane Wade card is he plays above his stats. He plays bigger than he is. I mean, I can't say he plays faster because he has max speed, which this other Dwyane Wade card does not have max speed. And you can just feel like every time I play with this Dwyane Wade card, even against other cards with 99 speed, I go, oh my God, I forgot you're like this, right? Now, you guys know I have been really, really early on the Dwyane Wade bandwagon. Some other people were early as well. Some other people came much later, but now everybody is on the Dwyane Wade bandwagon. There's been this really interesting discussion about best card in the game. Galaxy Opal Dwyane Wade is in the running on most people's lists for that discussion for a lot of reasons. So my thing about it is this pink diamond is almost as good as the Galaxy Opal, right? Most people don't have the Galaxy Opal. They still run this pink diamond on the most competitive squads in the game. If this diamond card doesn't have that secret sauce to it, then it's not as good. And I don't think there's any way to find that out from looking at the numbers, because the numbers are going to be close. All right? I apologize for the extended rant, but these numbers are fairly close. So he has an 88 three-point shot with a coach that's going to get close to this Dwyane Wade. But here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about. That 5 points might be that threshold, because this Dwyane Wade with a coach and somebody else having floor general is a 99-3. So even though he doesn't have Hall of Fame range extender, it feels like he has Hall of Fame range extender because he has a 99-3. Like whenever if you've played against this card, you know what I'm talking about. He pulls up and he just hits every shot. His shot is fantastic once you master it. I don't expect the diamond to be different. But because he has an 88 shot, you might just find that for some reason, instead of going 8 out of 10, you go 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. And because this Dwyane Wade card is still roughly 100K, I haven't checked his price in a few days, but he's around that I don't think 100K is too much to spend in that scenario. All right, so that's that. So the dunking, same thing. This driving dunk with Dwyane Wade, it basically maxes out with the 95. Floor general, everything else, you know, takeover. He's going to be over a 99 dunk. This guy dunks on everyone, through everyone. He just doesn't care. If the diamond does that as well with his 90 dunk, which is an excellent rating, I'm not downplaying it, then you're good money. Same thing with the ball handle. There's certain little things. People think ball handle rating doesn't matter up to 86. I very vehemently disagree. As a, park/rec center point guard, I can tell the difference when those ratings go up. You can feel your dribble go faster. You can feel that, fatigue affects you less. This isn't a big difference with the 89 to 92 ball handle. But again, I think I'm only pointing these things out because I really do think that this comes down to how the card feels. He takes a 15-point hit. He takes a 10-point hit on rebounding overall. The speed is virtually the same. Again, same thing. It's just -6 across the board with the speed. Will you feel that? Because Dwyane Wade, and the key of it is, if this card was 6'9", I wouldn't be having this conversation with you guys, right? But this card is 6'4", and the thing about him is he plays bigger than 6'4" in his pink diamond version. He plays much bigger, right? He always has. I don't know if all of these little subtractions across the board will make this Dwyane Wade diamond play like he's 6'4", as opposed to the one on the right that goes head to head with cards 6'7". You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing with that. The rest of these stats don't really matter. Badging wise, they're pretty close. They both got the floor general. Neither of them have dimer, right? They didn't give him dimer, which is so weird to hold out on dimer from Dwyane Wade of all people. Like, that's the craziest. Like, Dwyane Wade's a fantastic passer. From his rookie year, he started at point guard. He's a fantastic passer. Why doesn't he have dimer? Like, is that some kind of inside joke? Does he have pick dodger? Because even though I think pick dodger is one of the most overrated badges in the game, the people, no offense to nobody, but the people who thought that him not having pick dodger was going to be a big deal, that's hilarious. Pick dodger, I played a point guard in the park without pick dodger for a while, and I put pick dodger on, and it was like, okay, some of these animations don't get me as bad, but the screens are still overpowered at the end of the day. If pick dodger neutralized screens in any scenario, I would be like, yeah, but as it is, pick dodgers, it's okay. And I'm not saying don't get the badge, I'm just saying it's okay. But if you got to card the offensive power and frankly defensive power overall of Dwyane Wade, then pick dodge is a negligible issue, as is dimer once everybody has a 93. So yeah, so I would not make any decisions about selling when it comes to this Dwyane Wade card. What I would do is I would buy this Dwyane Wade card, play with the Dwyane Wade card, and I would actually play a bunch of games with the Dwyane Wade card. I would use him for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, then make your decision about whether you feel the difference with the pink diamond. But honestly, you guys, I don't try to know everything about this game, and the theme of my channel is going deeper. I think this is a going deeper situation where if you're really curious about this Dwyane Wade card, you got to buy him, you got to play him, and you got to see for yourself, because the stats are close, but he's in that really scary zone where that little bit of a nudge might make him play his size. And the pink diamond does not play his size. That pink diamond might as well be 6'6", right? Like, seriously, that pink diamond is basically a 6'6" card that looks like he's 6'4". Whereas this card might play like a 6'4", in which case he's gonna be a little wanting. What was his quick draw? Was his quick draw Hall of Fame? Yeah, his quick draw is still Hall of Fame, so he's still got the weapon. So if you don't have the pink diamond Dwyane Wade, then absolutely get this card. If you don't have it or you can't afford it for some reason, don't walk to that Dwyane Wade card, because he should be fantastic. But if you already have the pink diamond, play with that diamond for a week before you make any decisions. Okay, Robert Reed. He doesn't have range extender, so I'm just gonna keep it moving. If you want a card that's a great defender that doesn't have range extender, go to the spotlights, get Matisse Thybulle. I apologize to him and his family for how I pronounced his name, but that card is outstanding for a card without range extender. Don't pay for one, Jesus. All right, Karl Malone. First of all, shout out to the chat. You said you just got Chris Mullin the other day. How does he compare to Harden? Well, Harden plays point guard, so that's the main thing with that. Is Harden plays PG. I actually think that Chris Mullin might not be as bad as people are saying. I played a little bit with the Chris Mullin. I haven't gotten like deep into it, but I think the Chris Mullin's pretty solid. Like, if people talking about like he's trash, I just don't see him being trash. Is he quote unquote meta? Is he the top of his position? At the 2? No, I don't think he's like at the top of his position. But is he usable? Is he solid? Is he competitive? I think you can compete with him. I could be wrong about that, but you know. All right, so Karl Malone. So first things first, we all hate Karl Malone. Let's just get that out of our system, right? Nobody likes Karl Malone. Cool. So that having been said, is he a good card in the game of NBA 2K20? His shot is amazing. He has one of the easiest shots to make in the entire game. Like, I hate Karl Malone, and his shot's so good, I played with Karl Malone. He's super strong. He defends taller than his position, and that's from the diamond. Now, he's got a 60 ball handle, and he's not an Evo card. He's playing the power forward. I think this card is outdated. Do I think he's like unusable? Not at all. I think his shot's too good. I think his defense is probably going to be great. He came with Hall of Fame Intimidator before, I think. So he's got Hall of Fame rim protector defensively. He's got all his defensive stuff he doesn't deserve. But I mean, that's the part of the year we're in. That having been said, I do not think this card is at all worth the price. I do not think that this card is truly competitive, because the distance between him and like your Jeff Greens at 6'9", KD at 6'9", offensively is too big, and defensively, the fact that he cannot play small forward. I had this long rant about, you know, tall power forwards. Not a bad rant, but just where the meta is right now. And look, Blake Griffin, Bol, Eddie Curry, Shaq, all these guys can play the power forward and play it really, really well and give up nothing. They're all super duper fast. So when you play against those cards with a Karl Malone, they have all of the advantages, and you have none of the advantage. So if you're willing to go into a matchup with a card and say, I have no advantages, then sure, get this card. But I think there are better options, and there are better options for a budget. And by the way, I would be shocked if this card is better than a Darius Miles card. I definitely don't think he's better than Jeff Green, because Jeff Green also is a better, he's a high-level defender. I think Karl's probably going to defend the post better than both of those cards. Just because, something about him, he just weirdly defends the post well. Even at 6'9", I don't know if it's body type or strength or what. He probably has a 99 strength, right? I didn't even look at his strength rating. Yeah, he has a 97 strength that'll go to 99. So yeah, is he a good card? I'm gonna lean towards no. Okay, Giannis. Here we go. Going for almost 3 million MT, even though he can't play point guard, which is interesting. So because he can't play point guard, the big difference between him and All-Star Giannis is range extender. All-Star Giannis has the shooting badges, but no range extender. This Giannis has range extender. So he's basically Dino Raja at the 3 with range. Well, I guess he's Giannis at the 3 with range extender. That's kind of a case closed. Like, everything else is really irrelevant. Like, that's pretty much it. He's Giannis at the 3 with range extender. You know what it is with Giannis. He's still arguably the best defender in the lane, best at passing lanes, best hop dunker, phenomenal wingspan. Although I see they didn't go ham. This is going to be another Giannis card, guys. There is going to be another Giannis card, because not having pick and roller and deep hooks on Hall of Fame and back down punisher Hall of Fame and bailout, these are badges you could like chase down artists. Giannis doesn't get chased down on his Hall of Fame. This card is an ankle breakers only goal, like range extenders goal. Yeah, this Giannis is definitely, they showed some. I mean, as good as he is, you could argue this is the best card in the game. They definitely showed some restraint with this card. I'm looking for the handles for days. Yeah, he has Hall of Fame handles for days. So, as great as this card is, they definitely showed some restraint, because he also, if we look down here, it's a 93 strength, which again is a fairly elite strength rating, but it's not a 99. They did not give us what we would expect from a GOAT Giannis. So, as great as this card is he worth 2 million, 2.5 million MT? No way. That's insane. That is insane. I think this card is going to be really great. Don't get me wrong. But at small forward, you can run a lot of people and do fantastic. And at power forward, honestly, I think he's probably very, very good, excellent. But is he better than Shaq, Bol, people who run Kareem and Hakeem? Like, is he better for your play style by default? I don't know. No, I mean, I think he's great. I think he's a great card. I think he's an elite card. I think he's top of the meta for sure. I think he's top of the meta at the 3. I think he is in the mix at the 4. At the 3, he's probably the best card. But at the 4, he's in the mix. I definitely would not put him ahead of certain cards at the 4. I think he's very, very good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great even. But would I just automatically put him ahead? No, I'm not going to do that. Dope D, you said he's definitely not trash. Brandon Bull said he's definitely not trash. What are you talking about? All right, we have Chris Bosh, who looks like, yeah, like I said, this card is going to be affordable. This card is going to come down to earth. And let's see what he's bringing to the table. So I like this Chris Bosh card. He has a great shot. He's got the great driving dunk. I like Chris Bosh as a real-life player, too, so he'd be a fun card to grab. I don't really have room in my lineup for him, but, you know, be nice to switch it up if I somehow got a hold of this card. It's got a 90 speed, which is fantastic. It's got an 86 speed with the ball. So I think he's probably, this card might be the best version of that 6'11", well, second best. I would imagine the Anthony Davis is probably the best, because the Anthony Davis has just like crazy arms. He plays defense like a maniac. But I think Chris Bosh was an excellent pink diamond for his time. And basically, he's been updated to keep up with everybody else. He's got the Hall of Fame quick first step. Yeah, I think this card is fantastic. And at power forward, this is what I'm talking about. Is Giannis better at power forward specifically than this Chris Bosh card? I don't know. I would have to play to see. I'd have to see the shot. I'd have to see the peekaboo on Chris Bosh to really see, you know, who's there. Because Giannis, as much as I love Giannis, Giannis is one of my favorite cards in the game. Like I said, that small forward Giannis is the one I'm waiting for, because I want Giannis as small forward. Like, that's, to me, that's my end game 3 that I prefer. So I got my 3 to end all 3s with that Giannis if he wasn't so overpriced. So don't get me wrong about what I'm saying here. I'm just saying, if you're a competitive player, offensively, is that Giannis better than this Chris Bosh? I mean, we know he's an inferior shooter, because he's an inferior shooter to the pink diamond. But with this 86 ball control, I need to see that peekaboo. I need to see him off the Pro Hezi to see what the speed of that shot is like on this card, because this card could theoretically be better at the power forward spot than that Giannis card. At the 3, I don't think anybody's better at the 3 than that Giannis. I think that Giannis is probably the best 3 in the game. And Jason Kidd, closing it out. So first things first, I have to say, this, similar to what I said about Dwyane Wade overall, defensively, Jason Kidd plays way above his size. Like, way above his size. So, even though he's a 6'4" card, I wouldn't dismiss him the way I would other 6'4" cards, because this card should be able to defend the position better, according to the way his Evo card felt. Oh, Chris Malone. Yeah, Chris Malone's not trash. Okay, so I'm surprised they didn't give him 99s in a lot of these ratings. Like, I saw his ball handle's not a 99. It doesn't matter, because it's going to go up there with the coach. It's just a Jason Kidd, and I figured he would get the 99 speed, 99 ball control, since he's a 6'4" guard. I mean, the bottom line with Jason Kidd is he's one of those cards that proves that quick draw is, I'm not going to say less important, but quick draw works hand in hand with your animations. And unless they change his shot animation in some kind of fundamental way, he's just not an elite point guard in this game, right? And look, Jason Kidd's awesome, right? I wish he was on the Knicks for longer than he was, because he was so good for our organization. So this is not a personal thing against Jason Kidd or a bias against Jason Kidd. I wish the game facilitated Jason Kidd's style cards more, but at the end of the day, his previous cards, I think they had gold quick draw, did not shoot well enough to justify playing. I'm actually going to look at it real quick. Players, point guard. I don't remember what my Evo is on this account, but if I recall correctly, I've played a decently evoed version of Jason Kidd. Here we go. What version did this one have? Yeah, he has gold quick draw here. There's no card in the entire game that gold quick draw to Hall of Fame quick draw is a massive difference in terms of overall speed. What you find is that the difference is in the threshold of what the speed means, right? So it's that, so like Tracy McGrady. The pink diamond Tracy McGrady is still a top 10 shooting guard in the game. But because he gets Hall of Fame quick draw on, I think the pink diamond, I don't remember which one, like if it's range extender quick draw, whatever. But if you play the diamond, it's like, okay, this is a really, really nice shot on gold quick draw, gold range extender. But if you play the Hall of Fame range extender Tracy McGrady, it's like, oh, this is the almost completely unguardable version of the shot. And then when you combine that with base 98, it's like this is the absolutely unguardable version of the shot. And so the thing about Jason Kidd, I'm going to throw him on the team real quick. Jason Kidd, his shot is so slow as it is right now that unless they change his shot, that is going to turn his shot from bad to usable, but not from, iffy to elite. There's just not enough quick draw tiers for the base animation that they gave him. So he's just not going to be an elite point guard. It is what it is. So you would get the card if you like Jason Kidd. That's just way too slow. Just way too slow for this game. And one tier, it's going to be kind of like Harden. In fact, I would compare it very much to Harden. The Jason Kidd change is going to be a lot like the James Harden change, where it's like, did that make James Harden's shot elite, giving him Hall of Fame quick draw? Absolutely not. Did it change James Harden from like barely usable to usable as a peak shooter? Yes. It made him not a liability as a shooter. Now, that's not what I think is great about the James Harden card. James Harden card has like an elite animation package with everything except for a step back. So Jason Kidd, to look at his animation packages here, he doesn't have the Pro 3 Hezi, which for me, if you don't have a Pro 3 Hezi and a fast jumper, just keep it moving, especially at 6'4". Just keep it moving. Just keep it moving. Like, if he was 6'8", I would say the same thing I said about Reggie Theus, where it's basically like, if you're not running your offense through him, you can put him there as a cone at the 1 to just defend and run your offense through somebody else, like a Bol, KD, AK-47, whoever. But I think he's too short for that role. If he was elite offensively, then him defending above his size would be like a really nice bonus. But because he is 6'4" and has a slow shot and doesn't have a Pro 3 Hezi, I'm like, I can't. Some people can. I just can't. I can't with that. I think that is... I would have to play with the card before I would like give him like a rating or something like that. But he is one of the main reasons that locking in this set for Scottie Pippen is just an L. Because this card is not worth value. Like, this card is not worth value. I don't know what he's going to wind up at. He definitely should not be more than 100K. I mean, I think he's like he's not worth 100K. He's only worth it because he locks in. Like, if it was buying his card straight up, a 6'4", he doesn't get an 85 drive and dunk. He has a nice dunk package for in-game stuff, but a 6'4" guard without a fast jumper, what are we doing? And no Pro 3 Hezi. Yeah, what are we doing? So that's pretty disappointing. I would say this set overall is not great, to be honest with you. Giannis is fantastic. This Darius Miles is a huge dub. Huge dub. Chris Bosh should be really, really good in a pack of other cards of the same type. But I will say, before now, this card cost $1 million MT in the form of KG, whereas now you can get this card for a reasonably affordable price, most likely. So that's kind of a W. Larry Sanders is an L. This is an L. I don't even know who that is. The Dwyane Wade card, It's hard for me to say because the pink diamond is not expensive enough that the word on the pink diamond Dwyane Wade is just go get it. Like if any card is worth 100K MT, it's pink diamond Dwyane Wade, right? Like easily. And I've been saying that from the beginning. It's proven to be true. It's just true, right? Like that card is just that good. So, I mean, Dwyane Wade is one of the cards I said don't go for budget because it's not like he's 600K. If a card's 600K, then it's like, okay, well, let's look at the budget option. At 100K, just get the real one. Karl Malone. The Giannis is fantastic, but he's so overpriced. Realistically, if you don't pull this card, who's paying for that? So this set is just kind of a weird set. It's okay. I really think Darius Miles and Larry Hughes might be the two biggest dubs in terms of like the normal user. Those might be the real cards that are worth it. I would say Chris Bosh is probably in there too. Only reason I shy away from Chris Bosh a little bit, I have to play with the card to see what those animations really look like. Because I'm playing with Blake Griffin and Bol Bol, and I have no desire for anything in the world. I am a satisfied customer. I literally don't even look at power forwards that come out. Like, I just look at it for the sake of the channel. As a player, I'm fine. I want nothing more from Blake Griffin and Bol Bol. And my Bol Bol's not even Evo'd yet. Speaking of which, let's check this out. So as we can see here, the time is coming. I have not done any special Evos for this card. I think Evo, you know, rookie game tactics or anything. I've just been playing with the tactics I showed you. I get anywhere between 19 to 25 assists a game. I'm also Evoing other cards while I do this, so I'm in no rush because my thing is he will 100% be Evoed before these spotlights are finished, not even when they're finished, but before they're finished. So I'm not gonna like bend over backwards to get him assists or anything like that. And the three-pointers, I actually wasn't even shooting any threes with him until I realized that I was running kind of low in the threes, and I was actually over 600 assists, and I think I was at like 43. So I was like, all right, let me start jacking this now. So in like just a couple of games, I got the threes up. But it's 3-point attempts, not 3-point makes. So that's just literally the easiest thing in the world. There's no inconvenience to that. So speaking of Bol Bol, I mean, he goes to an 86 speed, and Ty Debo himself said it. You could throw that speed rating right out the window because he feels so much faster than that 80 speed. It's not even funny. Like so much faster. His ball handle goes to an 88. His speed with the ball goes up to 84 as well. Acceleration goes to an 86. I think we overlooked the acceleration stat a little bit. And even that pass accuracy, huge. That pass accuracy is another stat that people don't look at that much, but it's a really, really important stat. When you pass and you get those weird passes, sometimes it's the pass accuracy is not high enough. It affects, I believe it affects your pass speed directly. Check NBA 2 for that. They did a full video on that. Handles for days is huge. Ankle breaker, dimer, needle thread. I mean, you guys know what it is. This card is insane. And he's 7'2", not listed. 7'2". Oh yeah, you right here with it, Brandon. So all right, so let's look at. So I said I was doing the. So we're gonna shift gears here, guys. Like I said, this long stream. We're gonna be here a minute. So buckle up. If you're enjoying the stream, please hit like. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. So I was gonna show you guys where I am with these spotlights, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give a brief overview of what I think of some of these cards, since we have pretty much almost everybody. Now I'm going to do a full tier list, so I'm not going to get super deep into it. I just want to highlight some of the hidden gems in here that I think are really good. So I'll start with the West first. I love the Steph Curry card. Love it. He's basically the Opal without Intimidator. I think I might have done a whole video on him. I don't even remember anymore. I think he's fantastic offensively. Obviously, he's going to be somewhat of a liability defensively. But if you're in for that, and you want the fun of splashing threes on people's forehead, this card does it really well. Jeff Petrie's trash. They changed his base. That was very cruel. They did that on purpose to make sure he wasn't good. That was mean. Is Gugliotta, nothing special. Walter Davis is fantastic. He is one of the best catch and shoot and peekaboo cards in the game because he basically is Tracy McGrady. Sean Elliott is pretty horrible. Jack Sigma, this might be, I mean, if I was going to do a tier list of bigs that shoot great, he has one of the absolute most gigantic green windows in the entire game. And if you play a pick and pop style, or you can even put him at the 4, if you play a pick and pop style, this card is like he forces your defender to guard him because his is just really an amazing shot, and he can hold his own on defense. Now that having been said, he's going to defend the 5. So the main thing about him is he's in a bit of a no man's land when it comes to his position. He does have a 84 lateral quickness, so depending on who they're running at the 4, I think he's a very viable option as a pick and pop 4 that just plays defense. Now I think it's heavily dependent on who they're playing with too. Who's more vulnerable to trying to guard you off the pick and pop. So he gives you that option. I actually think this Tom Janovich card is fairly solid. I think he's a little bit overlooked as a card. He has Hall of Fame quick draw, Hall of Fame range extender. He's a very big character model at, I think he's listed as 6'8". Yeah, he's listed as 6'8", but he's a very big character model. And I would say that there are people out there that I think would like this card very much that probably haven't even looked at this card because he's Tom Janovich and nobody else is talking about him. Do I think there are better cards to get? Yes. And having played that Darius Miles card, I would say if you're looking for a budget option, get the Darius Miles card now before his price goes up. Until he goes over 55K, I think he's a no-brainer purchase. But up until then, I would have said this was a pretty solid option. This card's trash. This card's trash. I mean, Derek Fisher's a midget, so he's trash. Vlade Divac, he has a really, really weird shot release. I think his release is borderline broken, man. If you can shoot with this card, let me know. I struggle with it. Thurl Bailey is excellent. He's a great card. Yes, his wingspan is a little wanting, but he is a 6'11" power forward, guys. He's a 6'11" power forward with an 86 ball control, slashing takeover. For those of you who don't know, that means as he heats up, his speed goes up. Like more, I think speed and dunking and vertical go up 10 points. That's the way the takeovers work. So the way the takeovers work, if you don't know, is it's like 5 points to the relative stats that are like next to it, and 10 points to the stats that are central to it, right? So again, he'll get like a +5 for his 3-pointer, but he gets a +10 to his speed, a +10 to his dunking, and all that other stuff, or all the athletic stats. So that's a huge dub with Thurl Bailey. DeMarcus Cousins is a good card. His shot's a little funky for me, and again, because the cards that I run, I'm not personally super interested in this card, but he's another one that I think you should definitely give a look. I would say my biggest complaint about this card is I feel like defensively he's just a little lacking. His perimeter defense is 79. His interior is at 86. He's an elite rebounder, and he does have elite speed at his position. 6'11" with 88 speed, so he can definitely play the 4. But that 79 lateral quickness, that's what scares me. If you're running a defensive coach, if you're running Doc Rivers and you put a shoe on him, I think this card probably becomes much better and can probably hang with elite centers once you fix his defensive issues. But yeah, the defense definitely scares me with this card. You see Hall of Fame quick draw, Hall of Fame range extender. Does he have clamps? Yeah, he has gold clamps. So I think if you help him out a little bit, he's solid defensively. Mike Bibby has a 99 strength for some reason. I find that hilarious. Other than that, there's not really much to say here. I actually have not really looked at Chris Kaman. So I'm going to save Chris Kaman for my big man tier list when I do that. Yeah, I need Vucevic, and then we could do the whole tier list. But I'm going to finish the spotlights first and do a big Kobe vid and all that other stuff. Yeah, Carson Cruz. I thought Gugliotta was solid. What do I think of Luka and how to use him? I do not like Luka's signature dribbles at all. So, yeah, that's the thing for me. I don't think Luka's a bad card. I think he dunks really, really well. I think he shoots really well. And I think he defends really well. So I don't think Luka is a bad card, but I think there are better options than Luka all over the place because of his bad SIGs. I think his SIGs are just a little iffy. So yeah, this Chris Mullin's good. That's what I was saying about Chris Mullin. I think he's good. I would say the thing about Chris Mullin is he just doesn't feel snappy. That's the one thing I think holding him back is he just doesn't have like a pop to him. You know, he has a 94 speed and a 94 acceleration, but it just doesn't feel like it. And that's why I think with these ratings, I think a lot of these cards you really do need to play them because some cards feel faster than others, and Chris Mullin just doesn't quite have it there. But if you guys want to see him in freestyle, I'll show y'all his SIGs for those of you who are curious. Derrick Rose, excellent. Probably the best free point guard available now. Right? Is there anybody better than him? I don't know. I'm going to do a whole point guard tier list. Malcolm Brogdon is also an excellent free point guard. Great as a 3-and-D card. Derrick Rose is more of an offense creator. It's Kemba Walker. Kemba's not a great card. Let's just call it what it is. Roy Hibbert. He doesn't have range extender. He's 7'2". He feels a little clunky. I was hoping that he would be kind of a budget Kareem. He does have a very quick first step, but that 76 speed just feels like it's just not quite competitive with the modern center. Like, so for instance, Bol is 7'7", and he has a 60 speed. And that's the thing, it's like, I don't feel that difference. I feel like you don't feel that difference till they get above that 80 speed. Julius Erving's actually fantastic. He doesn't fit my lineup, but if I was looking for a 2-guard, I would definitely recommend this Julius Erving. Let's see, Oakley. I was actually disappointed in this Oakley card. I know he has an 86 ball control, but he's a 6'9" power forward. That he's probably solid on defense. His shot is slow, very slow, but makeable. But yeah, I thought he was pretty bad. I shouldn't say bad. Bad might be an exaggeration. But put it this way, I'd rather play Thurl Bailey than this card. And is there anybody else I would rather play than him? That position. I'd rather play Jack Sigma. I put Thurl. Probably DeMarcus Cousins, even at the 4. Unless somebody was running like a speed demon encounter. I might even play Rudy before. I think I like Rudy better than Charles Oakley. I like Rudy better than Charles Oakley. I haven't played them both in like high competition, so maybe defensively Charles Oakley is such a beast that I was like, oh, his defense is so great, blah, blah, blah. Offensively, he doesn't give you much. This Tim Hardaway, he actually dunks surprisingly well. He's a pretty solid dunker, a solid dunk package. He does feel fast, but he feels very small. Kyle Korver, phenomenal shooter. Really good 3-and-D card. I would say for those people out there getting like those Klay Thompson cards, the big difference between this and that is Klay Thompson has Pro 3 Hezi, which makes him semi-usable off the dribble, whereas this card is pretty unusable off the dribble. I don't remember if he had handles for bigs. Yeah, so this card is the very definition of a cone, because if he dribbles twice, he gets tired. So he's not a dribbler. Even if he had great SIGs, he's not a dribbler. But he's tall, 6'7", big character model, phenomenal shooter. I haven't looked at Brad Daugherty. Let's talk about this Kevin Garnett card. This is the most disappointing card in all of the spotlights, because his Amethyst felt really good for the time. His Galaxy Opal was a lock-in, and this literally feels like we don't want to make this card good because we want to make a purchasable KG later. And that really stinks. He should have had at least a 75 ball control. Look, I'm not expecting him to be a speed boosting demigod for free, but he's just way too clunky of a card. He just feels super clunky, man. That 65 ball control. Even a shoe only gets him to 68, and I don't think it's worth it to put a shoe on a card. Well, I'll take that back. It is worth it to put a shoe on a card to get him over 70. But man, that KG definitely very disappointing, because I don't think he's really truly usable. This Vin Baker, the one thing I'll say about this Vin Baker is he feels like a big card. I think he's better than the KG, even though the KG, does he have range extender? He has Hall of Fame quick draw. And no range extender. Yeah, I think the Vin Baker is probably better than the KG. And this Darryl Dawkins card, the one thing I'll say about these Darryl Dawkins cards is, look, are they great cards? No. But the way they shoot, the way they dunk makes them really fun. And he does have a 70 ball handle. So he has that quick first step. I was about to say Hall of Fame. Yeah, he does have Hall of Fame quick first step. So I put him above some of these other guys as well, even though I don't think he's a very good card. At 6'11", what's his speed? Speed is at 91. He has an 80 lateral quickness. So for those of you who just stick your power forward in the corner, you might not want to sleep on this Darryl Dawkins as a free option, because he's going to dunk on everybody. He's going to be all over the place defensively with that speed. And he's got a quick first step, so he's at the top of the key. He can still do a little bit off the dribble, catching people off guard. I emphasize a little bit. Ultimately, I think a card like Marvin Bagley is still a better option. But I would say if you're doing spotlights, definitely at least try the card out, because you might find that he fits your lineup a little better than you think. You said that that is not KG by any stretch of the imagination. They made Oakley better. I totally agree, man. I think that's like the most disappointing card in the whole spotlight, because KG wasn't even a bad card at his Evo, and obviously the Opal is solid. I don't think the Opal is like the best. I don't even know if I would call him. I personally don't even know if I'd call him top 5. Like, especially with Giannis out now, I don't think the Opal's top 5 necessarily. I would suspect that Chris Bosh, because he's a better shooter, is probably better. Giannis is probably better. I love Blake. And Bobo's almost definitely better at 7'2". But he's still top 10. And for this pink diamond to be bad, it's just like, wow, that stinks, guys. So you said Brad Daugherty is a glitch? All right, let me look at Brad Daugherty real quick. There's 78 3 ball, 77 ball handles, so that's boostable. You might be able to get him to speed boost in TAKEOVER, which could be a little wild. 84 speed sees over that threshold. 79 lateral quickness hurts a little bit. But yeah, so I'll take a look at this Brad Daugherty. Like I said, I'm gonna do my center tier list, so we'll be taking a look at that. So, all right, so that pretty much wraps it up in terms of the update. As you can see here, we are getting pretty close to that Hakeem, who I eagerly anticipate. And obviously he's not. Okay, so he's in the auction house. We didn't talk about this Michael Jordan card yet, so let's talk about him. So, okay, so this is a good time to have this discussion. Oh, so first of all, somebody that Taj Boss, is Tyler Herro good? Yes, he is. I put a speed shoe on him, but he's a very good card. Excellent SIGs, excellent jumper, and he's listed as 6'6", but that almost feels like a typo because his character model is huge. He's at least 6'7". So yeah, I think he's one of the better 2 guards in the game. I think he probably still cracks top 10, Tyler Herro. So yeah, I actually have him on my other account. So this Michael Jordan card, he's 99 everything, and Hall of Fame everything. So I said on 2K Gamer, I don't think a Michael Jordan card can be endgame. Now, let me clarify what I meant first of all. I think even right now, even though this Opal is out, the other Opal Michael Jordan is still possibly a top 10 2 guard in the game right now. When I say endgame, I mean, will they be, at worst, top 5 at their position at the end of the year on best possible teams? Now, I say top 5 because obviously you have a starter and a backup, and then I will leave the other 3 for preference, right? This guy likes this signature dribble package, this guy likes that, shot release, right? But outside of that top 5, you usually have a drop-off. My argument with MJ is that his SIGs are not good enough right now to be better than McGrady, who at this point is months old, right? I would even argue that I don't know if this card is better than Pink Diamond Tracy McGrady. I know that probably sounds very controversial, but I think Pink Diamond Tracy McGrady is also a top 10 shooting guard in the game. I don't think anybody was putting MJ over Pink Diamond Tracy McGrady before this Opal. So what does this Opal change? It really is going to change the speed and distance at which you can do his shot. It's not going to make him 6'8", and it's not going to give him better SIGs. Now, they did improve his SIGs by giving him that awesome pump fake and the awesome layup package. So I think Michael Jordan as a card has improved as a result of that update. Shout out to Spec. I also think Michael Jordan is one of the best defensive cards in the game and always will be, right? That having been said, I think that 2K is going to give all of those attributes that I just described to cards with better SIGs and better builds later in the game. Specifically, a Galaxy Opal Paul George at the 2 and a Galaxy Opal Kawhi at the 2 will shove this card down in the tier list, in my opinion, if you're talking about endgame cards, where they just, you know, take the kid gloves off. And I think there are other cards that they could also do that with that would be in that category. That is not me saying that I don't think Michael Jordan's a great card. That is not me saying that I don't think Michael Jordan will be usable in the end game. That is not me saying I don't think Michael Jordan will be generally competitive. However, I think that when you talk about elite, I think he will be in the usable or lower end of the elite category at best come the end of the year. He will be an elite defensive card that is okay offensively. He simply does not have the signature animations, unless they change them, which they've done once already, but that was to make him more like Michael Jordan. I don't think they're going to change him again. He doesn't have the shot release, he doesn't have the shot speed, he doesn't have the dribble sigs, and he doesn't have the height, in my opinion, to be end game top tier. So he will probably be A tier or A minus tier at the very worst at the end of the year. I don't think any of these cards will be unusable. You know, these Galaxy Opals, unless you're at a key position and you're like really small or something like that. But the stuff that's meta now will still work for the most part at the end of the year, because we're at the point where positions have basically stopped changing. We've kind of reached that apex, but that's where we are. I think you are looking at he's an S. He's probably an S tier card right now, but he will eventually be an A tier card. And I think there will probably be at least 3 or 4 S tier cards that are easily ahead of him. No debate, hands down. I'm not even discussing this with you. Now, I've already given you 2 nominees for that position. And I would even say that right now, another card that doesn't get mentioned in this is Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson can be slotted at the 1 or the 2, which allows you to put Giannis at the 1 and still have a point guard, or somebody else overpowered at the 1 that isn't a traditional 1, but you have a traditional 1 on the team, and Magic is still going to defend, and he has a great shot and better SIGs than Michael. He's much bigger than Michael. So I would still even now say that Magic Johnson, even at the 2, is probably a better card than this already, even with the Super Juice 99 everything stats, because the fact of the matter is, he was basically already 99 everything. Even the strength, like for most cards, the 99 strength would be a big deal. This was one of the best defensive 2 guards in the game already, right? Like, he's a monster defensively. So, as the previous Opal. So, I realize that may be a controversial viewpoint, but that is where I stand on it. Not saying Michael's trash, not saying Michael's unusable. I'm just saying I don't think he will be top 5 at his position at the end of the year, especially considering I don't think he's top 1 right now, which means you're saying that they're not going to release 4 more cards the quality of Glenn Rice and Tracy McGrady between now and the end of the year. I already gave you 2. Yusuf asks, is Kobe better than Tracy McGrady? Well, I haven't gotten the new Kobe card yet. He's a better defender, but I would say Tracy's probably better. They're equal in most other categories, but Tracy is a better shooter. So I would put Tracy is still above the Kobe. But here's the thing. Kobe does have his signature size up, and the My Team community does not seek to exploit that. So I need to get my hands on the Kobe card and get the most out of the Kobe card before I can fully determine where I think he really is in the meta. But in certain ways, he's similar to the Jordan card, in the sense that he's 6'6", and he doesn't have Dwyane Wade level animations. Right now, if Kobe had Dwyane Wade's animations, I would say, pack it up, guys. You got your 2 guard for the end of the year. Doesn't matter what else they put out. It could be an insignificant amount better, but it won't be significantly better. I think when that 2 guard Galaxy Opal Paul George comes out, and that 2 guard Kawhi Leonard comes out, you will hands down prefer those cards. That's my personal opinion. I think you will hand down if hands down, if you had the option, I prefer those cards over both Kobe and Michael. Now, I'm a Kobe stan and I'm a Michael stan. So, you know, if I can get my hands on any Michael Jordan card that's playable, I'm happy because listen, not only do I like Mike, I spent a freaking hour in freestyle mode on share play with Spatial Jones trying to find his SIGs, and then SPAC went and, you know, contacted 2K and we got the card changed. So I'm a fan, but I just got to be realistic about the way the game is designed. And the game is not designed in a way that, you know, he's not going to consistently post up a 6'9" Paul George at 2-guard Galaxy Opal. So that part of his game might be entirely dead by that time of the year. You said point guard Opal Giannis will come out too. Yeah, I was saying that early in the stream. Snipe God of 2K20. That Galaxy Opal, like, they held back on that Giannis, man. There's things that Giannis could feasibly get. Like, you could give Amethyst Giannis Hall of Fame chase down artist and nobody would complain. They gave this Opal Giannis gold chase down artist. Now, this is not me saying he's not a great card, because I know people go crazy when you criticize a card they think is good in any way. I think Giannis is possibly the best small forward in the game right now, this very day. But 2K clearly held back with that Giannis card. And as we can tell from Bol and Shaq, they're not prone to holding back, right? So Giannis will get better, and he will also be able to play the point guard. My concern, I want point guard small forward Giannis because I prefer Giannis playing a small forward. So for me personally, I would rather have small forward, power forward Giannis than point guard, power forward Giannis, because I don't want to play Giannis at the 1. That's just a personal thing for me. If I'm going to play a big guard at the 1, I'm playing Hito first. And honestly, even though I don't think he's the best, LeBron second. I do think that Magic and Ben could arguably be said to be better than LeBron, even the Opal one. And I think that Giannis is definitely better than LeBron. But I would personally prefer LeBron at the 1 because he feels more like a point guard to me. Galaxy Opal Giannis or Galaxy Opal KD? Definitely Galaxy Opal Giannis. Giannis is, even though they've released Giannis type cards, like there's a few Giannis clones in the game. Jonathan Isaac is a Diet Giannis clone. Actually, a card that I haven't gone over with you guys. Joe Smith, he's another Giannis clone. And when I say Giannis clone, I mean either they're really 12th their position, they have glitchy hop dunks, crazy wingspan, stuff like that. Obviously, Dino Raja is the best Giannis clone in terms of being at the center position and being still arguably the best point center in the game. He's definitely up there because, I mean, you know, Shaq obviously is there too. I think if you're running point center, I think Dino Raja plays it better than Wilt personally because of his animations. I think he just moves better. And honestly, if you had Shaq, I would put Shaq at the 4 and Dino at the 5. I think that's cheesier than anything you can do with Shaq at the 5. That's just me, just personal opinion. But yeah, so there's Giannis clones out there, but Giannis is really, really, really hard to replace, and KD is very, very easy to replace. I think Jeff Green is, if he's not as good as KD, and I use that KD card for probably like a month. I like the card very much. Did a whole video on the card. But Jeff Green is, if he's not as good as KD, he's so close that it absolutely doesn't matter. I don't know if anybody provides what Giannis provides to that level, you know, to that level, especially range extender Giannis. Once you give Giannis range extender, he becomes that much harder to replace. Who is the best power forward? Gun to my head, it's Bol. And then I think the second is actually Shaq. And then I think after that it's conversation with a bunch of cards. This new Chris Bosh, Blake Griffin, you know, this new Giannis, blah blah blah. But I think absolute best is still Bol. I think the second best is also Shaq. Michael Porter, No, because Michael Porter is just too skinny for me. I think he's a small forward. And Michael Porter is exactly the same thing I said about KD when KD came out. Is KD is too good at the 3 to reasonably run him at the 4 for me. When KD came out, I felt he was probably top 5 at the 4 position and top 1 at the 3 position. I feel the same way about Michael Porter Jr. He's top 5 at the 3 position, but he's like, maybe top 10 at the 4, if that high, including all cards. So I couldn't see considering him as like top in the 4 category. Yeah, Shaq and Bol Bol both can play the PF, and I think that's their. Well, I think Shaq is excellent at both positions, although. To talk about, so I'll probably go into this again in my center meta video. I think every position has a different thing that they are expected to do very, very well. The most interchangeable are the 2 and the 3. The 2 and the 3 can basically be exactly the same card, and it doesn't matter. But the 1, the 3, the 1, the 4, and the 5 all have different responsibilities. So the 5 is going to primarily be expected to shoot from the corner. Primarily, offensively, because most offenses set the 5 up in the corner, right? That's number 1. The 5 is also primarily on offense going to be asked to set screens. So having Hall of Fame brick wall is a huge advantage for a 5 versus a 5 that doesn't. The 5 is also, and that's offensively. Now, outside of that, the next most important role for the 5 is actually kind of a tie between point center and pick and pop. The thing about point center is defensively, most 5s are not equipped to guard off the dribble. If a center is standing here and they can shoot a 3-pointer, even without range extender, and they have speed boosting, they're very, very hard to deal with, because even if you're controlling a 5 that has the best defense in the world, I take Kareem out of it, Kareem and Wilt and Dino accepted, but I put everybody else pretty much in this category. The way they move on defense still makes it hard for them to guard a 0.5. And all you literally have to do is this and pull up and shoot, and they have to honor you. They have to respect it. And if they overplay that, you can keep going, or you can combo out of that dribble. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. So that right there, and then running around the 5s, is hard for them to turn around. So 5s don't want to be guarding other 5s who can play point forward. Point center. So the other thing a 5 can do is play pick and pop. Now here's the thing. There's only one inherent reason to have your 5 play pick and pop as opposed to your 4. And that's if your 5 has that problem I just discussed, that they don't guard the perimeter particularly well. And now that's offensively. As we can see there, in every role I described except for point center, those were all complementary roles. Those were not primary roles. So the only 5s right now that really can play primary offense is like Shaq, Eddie Curry, Dino. There may be 1 or 2 guys who I think are primary 5 is their best position. Those guys, right? Now, defensively is much more important for the 5. Guarding the pick and roll, guarding the interior, and playing passing lanes are much more important for a 5 than anything they can do offensively except hit the corner 3. Because if they can't hit the corner 3, they can break down your offense. Everything else offensively you can throw out the window in terms of the 5 if they can do those other things well. And that's why I personally think that Kareem is still the best center in the game. I don't think range extender, because of the way the court dynamics are, is as much of a game changer for a 5 as it is for a 4, 3, 2, or a 1. So that's my number 1 thing with the 5s. So going with that, Bol Bol. With his Evo, Bol Bol is a better 5 than he was before. I used to say I wouldn't even play Bol Bol at the 5 because he just wasn't strong enough, right? I think he had an 80 strength. Now, because of Hall of Fame Pogo Stick, he's not unplayable at the 5. But I don't think he is, I'm not going to say top 10, but he's definitely not top 5 at the 5 for me. Yeah, I don't think I would put him top 5 at the 5 because of his ability to post up, back down, the pick and roll stuff I mentioned. And here's the other thing, the fact that you're wasting him at the 5. Now, at the 4, he's absolutely elite. Because he has range extender, closing out on him is hard. His dribbles are elite. He moves the best out of all of the like super tall cards. He moves the absolute best. And this is without the Evo. He like moves like that. The difference between him and Porzingis is very, very noticeable. Even once you get Porzingis the speed boost. So even though he's technically listed on his card with the stupid little letters as a C primary, I think in terms of the actual game, he is a power forward primary, center secondary. So I personally consider Bol Bol a 4 the same way I consider Jeff Green a 3. Can Jeff Green play the 4? Sure. Can you win with him at the 4? Absolutely. But I think it depends entirely on what your opponent is doing at the 4. If they throw Shaq at the 4, that Jeff Green's not going to help you as much as he will at the 3. Whereas Bol Bol can actually defend Shaq at the 4, particularly where Shaq's going to spend more time on the perimeter, and Shaq can't just back him down and go up on him all the time because of the stupid-ass pogo stick, right? One of the worst badges ever created, or at least the execution of the badge. So that's why, for me, Bol Bol is definitely a 4, not a 5. I think Shaq is one of the few cards that plays 2 positions equally well. There's not too many cards in the game that legitimately play both positions at the same elite level because of what we described. Most cards that are really good at the dunking don't have the elite shooting animations, or they're really good at the defense, but they're missing the elite dribbling animations and stuff like that. Like, as it is, the closest any of the tall point guards really comes to a small point guard is this guy right here, in my opinion, is Hito. Hito's the only guy as you can like play peekaboo pick and roll stuff to the same level. But even that, and I love Hito. Love this card. I think that big character model might be a little bit of a disadvantage on defense if people are running around screens, depending on how they're playing. I think you might say, you know what? The way this guy's playing, I'm going to play Dwyane Wade at the 1 rather than Hito against this matchup. Whereas the farther you get towards the center, the less it's possible for being shorter to have any inherent advantages at all whatsoever. I think there are some, I think overall being taller is better throughout the whole game, but there are some advantages to being shorter on the perimeter. There are no advantages to being shorter on the interior. So the 3, 4, 5 height almost automatically makes you better. Especially if you're equal in other categories. So the more 6'10s and 6'11s you can run, the better. And for that reason, Jeff Green is 6'9". I think there will be a point in the meta very shortly where people stop running 6'9 cards because the 6'10s and 6'11s are just too good. And even 7-footers, as we see in the case of Bol Bol. He's 7'2". He's just too good. You said Bol is A tier, AD is S tier. I think AD is S tier. I would argue that Bol Bol is also S tier though. Particularly, but keep in mind, I'm going to do this video soon. Bol Bol theoretically has 2 Evos, right? So he has not only the Evo, the actual Evo, but you also have the fact that you can put his dad on the court, and now he's just crazy, right? Like, he has 2 upgrades to the character, including coach, including shoot. So I think for that reason, I think Bol Bol is as good as any card in the game, especially if you know how to use him. Like, if you're really like good, that Bol Bol can do anything. Now, I'm not saying AD is not as good, or I mean possibly better, but my thing is they're still both S tier. They both share the same space. I think you can find 2 players, but one person says, I'm better with AD, and the other person says, I'm better with Bol Bol. They both use him at the 4, and they're both equally good people that just play different styles. And when it comes down to that sliver of a difference, I consider them the same tier. I only consider you a different tier if there's something I can specifically say, you don't do this well enough compared to this other card, and because of that, I would always pick this other card. Like Michael Jordan. His SIGs, both in shot release and dribbling, which is unfortunate, and his height. Those are three things that on other cards can just be flat out better. It's not a style thing. It's just literally better, you know? Whereas with AD, and the other thing is AD is a collector reward, and most people have not gone all the way down here with collector rewards. That's almost 3,000 cards. So because he's not even auctionable, and he's not in a reasonable collection, I don't even consider him on the map, because he's not on the map for 99.9% of the community. So and the thing, and so you guys are talking about AD strength, guys. If oh my God, I wish Spatial Jones was in here right now. He could 100. Oh, I just saw Jason Battle. What's up, dude? No, I'm not ripping packs. There's no reason to rip packs because you're not going to get Giannis most likely, and nothing else is worth ripping for. I think Bosh will be affordable, and I think Jason Kidd's pretty bad. So there's no reason to rip packs. I haven't ripped packs in a long time, to be honest with you. So I'm not even saying that AD's not better than Bol. So understand what I'm saying. Like, I think it's possible that he is better than Bol, but Bol is not A tier. Bol is still S tier, right? Just because you can have characters in the same tier, one character is just further up the tier. That having been said, I'd be very curious with you AD users. I'm very curious to see you guys offensively with the card, because Bol, because of his height, is so hard to close out on. Like, that's a mechanic in 2K, where if you the taller you are, the closer you have to be when you close out on the card in order to get a shot contest. So with Bol, you can literally, and you see it all the time with centers in the corner, right? You're right near the center in the corner, you move towards him, he shoots it, he hits a three, and you're like, I was there. It's because he's so tall, right? So with Bol being 7'2", his ability to shoot from range extender range, and for you not to get up on him, again, I do think he's a high skill card. I do think you have to play with the card a lot, learn all of his ins and outs, move really well with him. You gotta learn some of the, park stuff like misdirections and stuff like that. But if you learn all of that stuff with Bol, I think he's in that category of, if he's not completely unguardable, he is as close to it as you get without being just like a base 98 Hall of Fame quick draw cheese ball that's literally too fast to catch up to. I think he is the next best thing. I'm curious to play AD in those circumstances. I know he can speed boost, which is a big difference between him and the Pink Diamond. But again, if Spac was here, he would tell you, I was constantly looking at people's tier lists and like, why are they leaving out Pink Diamond AD? That card is so good. So I know how good the Opal is defensively. So I would never debate you with that. I'm just saying Bol is also an S tier powerful. And also keep in mind, I'm also of the school that 3 is more than 2. So all that inside stuff, everything you heard me talk about so far was all about either guarding the 3 or creating the 3. It's not that I think 2s are completely irrelevant, but if you watch any high-level streamer, they'll see somebody dunk and go, that's fine. Because there's a point in the game where you have to prevent your opponent from giving up 3s. That has to be your main priority. That's the way this game plays. At all levels, Pro-Am, Park, my team, all of it. The team that is best at generating and defending the 3 is the better team. So all of that stuff where it's like, well, on the inside and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah, I mean, Bol might give up some 2s to Anthony Davis on the inside, but I don't really care about that. Like, that doesn't, and I'm not even talking about them in a head-to-head matchup. I'm just talking about them schematically on a team. Do I think Bol is an absolutely elite power forward, especially after the Evo, especially since you get 2 Evos? 100% I do. Do I think Anthony Davis is also a very, very elite card? 100% I do. Do I think Anthony Davis is an entire tier above Bol? No, I do not. I do not. Sorry, I just disagree if that's what you're saying. I don't know how thin Bol. I've played Bol a lot against a lot of people, and again, I don't value the post as much as you do. Like Anthony Davis posting a Bol is not a concern of mine at the competitive level. I just don't see that as like, oh yeah, RCA the Great beat Ty Debo because Ty Debo was playing Bol and RCA just posted him up all day. I don't think that's realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's a thing that happens. Oh, Splash Edition was doing fine until he got posted up all day. Like, that just literally never happens. That's not how the game plays. So, yep, so that's my opinion on that. Like I said, I think AD is as good as it gets in this game as far as cards go. If he wasn't so far at the collector level, I would go get him myself. I love the card. Spatial Jones is in here now. He could tell you I was the president of the Anthony Davis Pink Diamond fan club, so I anticipate being the president of the Opal fan club if I got there. That having been said, Bol is 7'2" and can create threes at will. And quite frankly, if you're good enough on the sticks, there's not much you could do about it because at 7'2", even if you're there, even with Intimidator, he gets forgiveness on the perimeter. He just gets forgiveness. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, if you're saying a third of a tier, I mean, we're saying the same thing, essentially, that they're both in S-class. Until I play AD and Evo Bol, quite frankly. I need to play Ultra Instinct Bol. That's my thing, is this Bol, so let me look at his base stats. So this Bol right now is fine. He's very good. He's still elite right now. With his 91-3, his 86 ball control with the shoe, elite rebounder, and the jumping is fantastic. The wingspan is fantastic. You see he needs a little speed, and he's not doing too well with the strength. So what does his dad give him again? I actually don't remember. And yes, I legitimately got this this Minute Bol, just to see the stats. I legitimately did that because I was just curious. And to play with it and see if I felt the difference. But there he is. All right. So his draw foul goes up. His 3 goes up. Oh my God. He's just literally not going to miss. Rebounding goes up. The strength is the same. I don't think his strength goes up with his Evo, right? No strength on the Evo. So yeah, that 80 strength is definitely, I wouldn't call it a liability. The main reason I don't consider it a liability is because of the pogo stick. And because I just don't think the post-up is strong unless you are, I just don't think the post-up is like as big of a deal as people make it out to be. Like that whole, no offense to DBG, there's no hate or anything, but death of 1,000 post hooks, I think that's just for something for lower tier play. Because if somebody's killing you with Tracy McGrady and Dwyane Wade for threes, I mean, 50 post hooks is 100 points and 50 threes is 150 points, right? So what are we talking about? Yeah, I mean, again, I agree that he's stronger in the interior. I just don't care about that. I care if we were talking about 5s. If we were talking about at the 5, I think AD is much better at the 5 because of all the reasons you're stating. But I'm playing Bol at the 4. I would also probably play AD at the 4, although I do think AD is one of the few 6'11s that's probably is good enough at the 5 to play against anybody. But I'm talking about at the 4, where he's going to spend more time in range, extended range, more time handling the ball, more time catching, shooting far away from the basket. And also as a bonus, because he's so good from out there, he also pulls cards like AD away from the basket so that you can run against people, and it's harder for you to help with your best defender if AD's on the floor, which is another big plus. But I think we're kind of on the same page. They're both S tier. You think AD is S plus or further up the S tier. I think AD is possibly further up the S tier. I don't know if I'd go as far as to create a whole new tier for him, but I would have to play the card extensively to really see, go through all of his signature dribbles and all that stuff, to really see if he can create offensively to nearly the level that Bol can. Because Bol he's as good of an offensive card as you get. Like, legitimate, especially once because he evos. He's already there and he evos. His 3-point shooting and his ball handling goes that much faster. Acceleration goes up, speed goes up, and at 7'2", jumping out on a 7'2" peekaboo, I think you're underestimating how good that is. I really do. Yeah, Sharon Sabani says post hooks is easy to stop if you have stick and pogo stick. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the pogo stick is a really, really strong badge, and it does, especially if you know how to defend the post. And guys, this happens in the park rec center as well, in like 2K League. The bigs do not have, like, strength and size is not as big of an advantage in the post as it's supposed to be. While there are a few cheesy post shots that are really hard to defend, pogo stick is like the equalizer for so many things. Pogo stick and height. If you have pogo stick, vertical, height, intimidator, and a high block rating, like I'm telling you straight up, somebody who's really good at that can really neutralize the efficiency of your post. I'm not saying they can completely shut you down in the post. I'm saying they can neutralize the efficiency of the post. And if you're not hitting 80, 90, 100% of your post shots, if your post shot is not basically a dunk down there, this is why people don't post up in the real life NBA anymore, right? It's the same exact reason. The game is just doing the same thing, where it's like a post shot, if you go 3 out of 5 in the post, then I don't want you posting up. You need to go at least 4 out of 5 to even start the conversation. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying I love that the game has turned into that, either the real life game or the video game. I'm just saying that it is what it is. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, that pretty much wraps it up as far as all of that goes. So I need y'all spirit energy, guys. Because we have 4 spotlights left. So we got the Orlando Magic. Let's see, yeah. So, man, so many of these games, man. So many of these games. This is ridiculous. We got Orlando, Detroit, Toronto, and Washington. So, now normally, I don't run quick through STS at all. I'm going to run it a couple of times because I'm actually very curious about something. I'm curious if this Larry Hughes will dunk in the game. Because if he can dunk and quick through STS, then his evo can happen very quickly. Yeah, Kobe's definitely on deck this weekend. He might be on deck today, depending on how crazy we're about to go. He might be on deck today. So this is how I always run my Evo stuff. I get a bunch. Oh, okay, so I see I was about to do the Orlando Magic. And Hito is on the Magic. He's already on the team. Let's sit ball down. So, man, now that Darius Miles came out, guys, I was so close to putting a diamond contract on that Jeff Green. I'm talking so close. I was literally like, I'm going to put this diamond contract on this Jeff Green right now. I'm going to do it. And because I like that card so much. Now, the Darius Miles, I don't think the Darius Miles is as good as the Jeff Green. But I like him enough that I'm like, all right, now I don't know. Because for me, the Jeff Green was like, holy crap, I like this card as much as I like the Durant. Oh, is that a new locker code? Is that real? Snipe God, I'm going to trust you. I have implicit trust in you right now that I'm not getting trolled. Let's see. And good conversation, by the way, man. I think that was a reasonable meta debate. And I honestly think we are pretty much on the same page as far as that goes. My only beef is I would have to play more of the AD to see his offensive potential. Because I haven't seen people, I've seen people use the card, but they don't use him a lot offensively. They just kind of use him as a role player. And Bull's not a role player. Although I felt the Pink Diamond AD was strong as a role player. So it's not like if you're a role player, I value you less. But in order to properly, really, thank you so much for the locker code, homie. Appreciate that. Let's see here. I don't really care where it drops. Sure, whatever. You probably ain't gonna get nothing anyway. Give me Magic. Jason Richardson. And a rotten coach. Hey, at least we got a contract. You know what? I'm gonna just quick sell that because Jason Richardson didn't go for anything. Let's see. I always like to double check because sometimes for some reason cards go up, but he's in tokens. Yeah, he's discard price. That's what I usually put that stuff up for. It's more than quick selling it, but it pretty much guarantees the empty's gonna come in. All right. Well, I'm gonna do some spotlights on stream. I apologize to those of you who will watch this very boring CPU gameplay, but feel free to let's get on with this basketball discussion. In fact, going with that basketball discussion, what do y'all think of this top 10 list with LeBron at number 2? Now, I only bring this up. I said I would not participate in any LeBron versus Michael Jordan or LeBron versus Kobe debates anymore. So I'm not having that debate. But he's at number 2, not number 1, so we don't really have to have that debate. That having been said, I think number 2 is high. And I say this because doing my research on what, now I was very young when Magic was a player. So I've seen Magic Johnson play while he was active, but until he was almost done, I wasn't like old enough to really like judge it. You know what I mean? It was just like stuff happening on screen. So I still had to do my research on Magic. I already knew all about Kareem. I've done research on him plenty of times, watched a bunch of his old footage. But it was really Wilt and Magic that surprised me a little bit. Magic gets billed as this guy who wasn't athletic. He didn't jump super high. But when you look at Magic play, I would say still to this day, I've never seen a 6'9" player with that combination of agility and speed. LeBron is faster than Magic in my opinion. I think LeBron is probably the second greatest athlete of all time. I would still give the nod to Wilt after looking at all things considered. But they're both two of the greatest athletes ever to live, right? So there's that. I think Wilt being bigger, much stronger. Wilt was like literally supernaturally strong. I give the nod to Wilt in terms of athleticism. So all that having been said, I would put both Magic, or all three, I would put Magic, Wilt, and Kareem above LeBron James. And then I would probably have LeBron after that. With Bill Russell, I've done research on Bill Russell, and I know this is basketball blasphemy, but it's just really hard to tell from footage how great he was. Because essentially, it was almost like if you were to watch black and white grainy footage of Tim Duncan, right? Like, that's not gonna tell you how great Tim Duncan was. You have to watch full games of him being hyper intelligent, really excellent, never making a mistake, basically. Like, you got to see all of that stuff to really get Tim Duncan, even though Tim Duncan was an elite post-up player. So it's like, you can watch Tim in the post and get a sense of it, but with Bill Russell, I do not see a case. Please don't. Oh my God, he didn't even try. I do not see a case for Bill Russell being better than LeBron James from any of the information I can gather. I don't buy the wins thing because the league was structured so differently that the bottom line is, if you had the best team, you were going to win all the time. And they clearly had the best team, so that's why they won all the time. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't a part of that. It doesn't deserve to be on the list somewhere. But I just can't personally say Bill Russell was a better basketball player than LeBron James. I can. He's not Duncan. Yeah, we got to figure something out. I can say that I believe, honestly, that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and Magic Johnson were all better basketball players than LeBron James. With this one little thing, I think LeBron James, his skill prime and his athletic prime, he's really just going to do that layup over and over in traffic. His skill prime and his athletic prime did not occur at the same time, except arguably his last year with the Miami Heat. He does not dunk. Okay, that's unfortunate. But that's only 1 year. Every other year, what he became when he went back to Cleveland, which was, he did start to decline athletically, even in his first year in Cleveland. It wasn't a massive decline, but he wasn't what he was, right? He wasn't like, and you can see it in so many ways. But anyway, if he was that player for more time, then I could see a case for saying that he was better than Magic. But he was only that guy in a year that he got absolutely smoked by the San Antonio Spurs, by literally record-breaking, a record-breaking blowout in the finals. So I'm just not giving him much for that. Am I saying that was like entirely his fault, this, that, and the other? That's not the discussion I'm having. I'm just saying, if I had a 10-year window to have a player, I would pick those 4 players before I picked LeBron James. Oh, try the alley-oop? Yeah. Let's try that. Let's try the alley-oop. Good call. And he has to flashy? Okay, I'll try the flashy. No, I don't think I am overweighting Wilt, man. The same thing that's true about if you have like the great team in those old leagues, the same is true if you don't have a great team. And I challenge anybody in this chat to name 2 teammates of Wilt Chamberlain's outside of Jerry West. Like on a team that he lost to. You're really gonna play it right now? On a team that he lost to, the Celtics, in those times in the early days, give me 2 teammates and tell me how good they were from those early years. So I think all things considered, it's perfectly fair to dismiss, not entirely dismiss, but to not use Wilt's record against him. He did not flash it. Vincent, I don't think that's entirely fair. I think we really would have to watch those games, because when you're scoring 50 points a game and getting 30 rebounds a game, and you're averaging over 50% shooting and all that stuff, I think it's just fair to be like, you know, he might not have just had the better team. Yeah, he ain't dunking. As an individual player, I do have him ahead of Bill Russell. I think watching both people play, I just can't see any way that you can look at both people playing from the footage that we have and look at Bill Russell. Yo, what's up with his stamina? Oh, okay. My bad. Let's go time out real quick. Nah, Vincent, everybody else wasn't averaging 50 points. And also, it's like, look at him scoring, too. You know what I mean? It's not just the averages. It's like, actually watch him scoring. Like, he's literally, you know, fadeaway jumpers from about 15 feet really consistently. Crazy fast spin move, insane wingspan, insane strength, insane speed, record-breaking jumping ability. Literally, he was an Olympic-level high jumper. Like, watch how he's scoring and tell me that, like, that's stoppable. Even today. Like, that's not, you can't, there's nothing you can do about that. I forgot to, am I crazy here? Oh, no, I did put it. They're double teaming Larry Hughes. This is awesome. This is awesome. They're double teaming Larry Hughes. Like, they're literally just trying to stop me from trying to see if he can dunk. Why are they double teaming Larry Hughes? I scored 10 points with him. Yeah, man. I'm going to sub him out and see if more fatigue helps out, but this is not looking good. Are you guys getting him to dunk? But yeah, all things said, man, I think the numbers are so clownish that it's very easy to dismiss them and be like, oh, that was just back then. But if you really look at the footage, if you really listen to these people talk, the people who played with him and against him, they're like, no, I'm telling you, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're telling you, like, no, this is for real, guys. I can't believe they're double teaming Larry Hughes right now. Look at how they're playing. Just get it through the ball. I have no idea how they're going to release Opal, Paul George, and Kawhi. But I do think they're going to shake up the two-guard meta because I think they're going to be number 2 and 3 behind McGrady, if not ahead of McGrady, depending on, you know. So Project Elevate, you said you're getting them to dunk? Are you doing flashies or are you doing lobs? Both? All right. They're doubling him now, so I'm gonna get hot with somebody else so we give him a little space. Blake Griffin's so silly. Opal Tatum is the Prime Series 3 award. Is that facts or are you speculating? The thing about Jason Tatum is it really depends on how his shot is. They've been messing around with his shot a little bit. So it depends on how his shot release feels on that final card and if he can play the 2. It's really weird to me that they haven't released a 2-guard Jason Tatum yet, because I mean they've released tall 2 guards. It's not like he's never played the 2 before. That's weird to me. Wow. All right. But yeah, going back to that LeBron conversation, I think LeBron definitely goes in at number 5, I guess. So Mike, in no order, Mike, Magic, Wilt, Kareem. I have Kareem at number 2. Mike, Kareem, Wilt, Magic for me. If I was gonna put it in order, that's probably the order I would do it in. And yeah, and then I probably have LeBron, and I have LeBron there. So I don't think it's like egregious or anything. I don't put Tim Duncan above LeBron for the specific reason that I watched all of Tim Duncan's career, and while I really, really admire Tim Duncan and the career that he had, and I think he deserves to be on the list, I think that it's like almost what some people say about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, where the system brought so much winning to Timmy. I think he gets credit for quote-unquote 5 championships in a way that Kobe, they only want to give Kobe 3 championships, some people, right? They want to say, well, he got carried by Shaq in the first one. But he averaged almost 30 points a game in one of those years, right? He made clutch plays and, was the go-to guy in the fourth quarter when they were playing Hack-a-Shaq and stuff like that, and was the best 2-guard in every series, I believe, that he played from either team. Usually the second best player in every series that he played, third best player at worst. He was the very definition of an elite player in that series. You can't say the same thing for Tim Duncan in his latter championships. Tim Duncan, which was a credit to him, by the way, this is not a knock, but he was a role player for his later years and still winning, right? Like, he wasn't 2001 Tim Duncan, even in 2007. And again, I'm a guy who, when Tim Duncan just was like, you know what, I'm scoring 30 when they were playing the Heat, I find that to be the coolest, most admirable thing in the world. But don't get it twisted, Tim Duncan was not an MVP, even mildly debatable player in his later years, when he was still winning a lot of games and winning championships. So I think it's one of those things where it's more of a social, emotional argument as far as that goes. Do I think he's an all-time great? Yeah, but I can't put him above LeBron, even though he has more championships, because I just think LeBron is a better basketball player than Tim Duncan. And that, honestly, that's how my list is literally, who would I pick? Like, who would I rather have as a basketball player on my all-time team? What's that order? And for me, the number 1 is Michael Jordan, and the number 2 is Kareem. The number 3 is Wilt, and the number 4 is Magic. By that discussion, is the number 3 LeBron? See, LeBron is tricky in the sense. I think LeBron is hard to build around because the thing that makes him great also makes it hard for other people to play with him. And specifically, I mean other superstars. Every superstar he's played with has either changed their game, played poorly, or got annoyed with him and left. Like in terms of the superstars. Chris Bosh changed his game. Kevin Love changed his game. Kyrie Irving played very, very well with him, but he got annoyed and left because he was only allowed to play in one very specific capacity. And Dwyane Wade actually changed his game as well. And he also got older. Well, he got hurt. He did have a comeback later in his career where he looked a little more like his old self than he did in that year they got smoked by the Spurs. But I think he's genuinely hard to play with a little bit for superstar players, for people who need the basketball. People just say, oh, he makes his teammates better. But I think they really don't. I think they think when you give people open dunks and open three-point shots, that makes you better. That doesn't make you better. That makes role players more efficient. I think LeBron does do that. But I think at the highest level, the more superstars you can fit together, the better a team is going to be. And for that reason, when I look at guys like Kobe and Kevin Durant, they actually play very, very well with other superstars because of the way they play. I think in a certain sense, it's almost easier to play with a gunner than it is to play with somebody who needs the ball. Because a gunner doesn't need the ball all the time. They're just going to shoot it when they get it, right? So you look at Kobe, he does a lot of off-ball stuff. You look at even Michael Jordan, a lot of off-ball stuff. Kevin Durant, he'll sit in the corner for a little bit. He'll bring the ball up, pass it, set a screen. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Whereas with LeBron, he does not do any of that stuff as his preference of play. His preference of play is give me the ball. I got this figured out for you guys. And I think that gets LeBron exactly where he is, which is if things are totally fair, you have a really good chance of winning a championship. But if the other team just wants to load up against you, you can't load up against them to the same level, right? Like people weren't loading up against each other to that level until after the Heat. You could argue that it was the Celtics who did it, but the Celtics were older guys. Older guys coming together to win a championship via a bunch of trades is totally different than dudes in each other's DMs over the summer. Like, yeah, let's hook up this summer. Like, it's a totally different thing. So, going with that, looking at LeBron, he's literally been able to choose what team he wants to be on and who he wants to play with for a decade, and he still loses most of the times in the finals and barely wins when he does win. Now, I'm not holding that against him in terms of saying like he's trash or he's not great. I'm just saying that if I had to build a team around LeBron, that's a question I would legitimately ask myself. Like, who am I going to put around him and get their best years, right? And it's kind of counterintuitive because if you look at, say, Russell Westbrook, right? People are like, well, he's hard to play with. But you look at the offensive players he's played with, the ones who played in their prime, Paul George, Kevin Durant, who else? Steven Adams even. The people that played with him have their best numbers with him. James Harden was, outside of James Harden shooting bad, overall having a phenomenal year. They actually get fantastic numbers playing with him. Pau Gasol clearly had his best years with Kobe. Shaquille O'Neal clearly had his best years with Kobe. Just because somebody's a gunner and irritating to talk to doesn't mean that on the court they make you worse, right? Especially for a superstar. And if I have my choice, I'd rather somebody who allows superstars to also go out and get their 30 and play their game than a guy who's like, you don't post up as much. You don't dribble as much. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of player that LeBron is he slows other people down in the game that they play. That doesn't make him a bad player. I'm just saying that makes me hesitate a little bit on saying, oh yeah, I would hands down put him on my team first before anybody below him on the list. Even though individually, I think if you take up the body of work, if you take the skill set, LeBron is the next biggest monster on the list. Debatably, Shaquille O'Neal would also be in that category. The big difference, that's offensively though. The big difference is, I think Shaquille O'Neal's pick and roll defense is so terrible that he's very lucky that he played in the era that he played in. Not because he wouldn't have been great, not because he wouldn't have won rings, but it would have literally been something they talked about all the time. It would have been the way people played against the Lakers. Reading the chat right now. Let's see. You said you're not even a LeBron fan, but he's better than Kareem. Again, this is one of those things where I say, take a real serious deep dive into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career. Look at the league at the time. Look at the way stuff was played. I'm throwing out the fact that Kareem has the most points ever. Throwing out the fact that at like 39 years old, he was still averaging 20 points and like 11 rebounds or something like that. Throwing all that stuff out the window. I think he averaged like 14 and 8 at 40. All of that stuff. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lost like a total of 3 basketball games between like the age of 15 and 22 on record. Like legitimately. He like didn't lose in high school. What did he lose? Like a game in college? And there was like something with that game too where it's like iffy or whatever. Like legitimately, the man went years without losing a basketball game. You know, it's like we just, because we're not there for it, it's hard for us to fathom. It's hard to remember that Kareem was actually fast when he was younger. Like young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would get the rebound and just run. He also was a ridiculous passer. Forget Kareem highlights. Look up Magic Johnson highlights and look how some of them are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar throwing Kevin Love passes down court. Wilt Chamberlain did that too. I'm talking 94 feet. Under the rim, in the pocket. Like, that's crazy. Like, the skills that these guys had was actually crazy. And so, you know, yeah, did Kareem play on great teams? Sure. But he also had 6 MVPs. Or was it 6 MVPs? He has a record 6 MVPs. Like, I don't know. Like, to be that hands down about it, I understand to be in a debate. Don't get me wrong. But to be hands down, to be like, oh yeah, LeBron's better than Kareem, like, I don't know if I have that kind of energy for that discussion. You know, I can't come to that discussion with that kind of energy. I'll come with the, well, what is your case? How do you feel about this? In what aspect do you think it's easier to win with LeBron James than it is to win with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta have a talk. Like, I'm not about that. Oh yeah, just pencil him in. Just pencil LeBron in for a win. Give me LeBron and 4 equally good players, and give me Kareem and 4 equally good players, and LeBron's taking home the chip. LeBron lost to Dwight Howard when his second best player was a toss-up between Hedo Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not forget. And that was a fair and square loss. It wasn't no controversy. Nobody got suspended. It wasn't no, late game, how'd you do that? Threes, like Kawhi Leonard with the ball bouncing 900 times on the rim. None of that happened. They just got their ass beat, fair and square. Oh, are you playing me in the playoffs? We're a better team than you. See you next year. That was literally that. That was what happened. Spatial Jones, why are you misbehaving now? Why you out here with your Elton Brand propaganda? Why are you like this? I just want to know why you like this. That's my only question for the day. My only question for the day is, why is Spatial Jones like this? If y'all could tell me that, I appreciate it. That's the mystery for me. Yo, Spac, you pick up anybody for the day? Did y'all? Yo, Spac, tell me in the chat. Y'all get any of these cards? Yeah. Like you look at some of the stuff. Like I was watching the what you call it, one of those Wilt deep dives. The man averaged 48 minutes a game one season. 48 minutes a game. That shows you that, like, legitimately, this guy has an argument for the greatest athlete ever, and he wasn't unskilled. And that's the thing about Bill Russell. I'm not saying Bill Russell was unskilled. I'm just saying, like, if you look at his stats in some of those years as an offensive player into today's game, like, I don't know. I'm not saying I know. I'm saying I don't know, but I have questions. Whereas with Wilt, I have no questions. Wilt will come in today and average 25 as a rookie. Like, Wilt would be the best big man in the game today, hands down, no question. You said LeBron difficult to play with. AD season. Yeah, well, it's interesting with this AD season because LeBron is older now, right? So if you look at LeBron's numbers across the board, his efficiency is generally way down. He's shooting more threes. Some people are saying that's because he's adapting to the modern era. No, it's because he can't take people off the dribble the way he used to. It's that simple. There's no shame in it. He's an older guy now. It is what it is. Elevate, you still in here. Were you running quick through STS for Larry? Bosh and they had 200K. Yeah, you know, if I had the MT for it, I would pick up Bosh purely out of, like, A, curiosity, B, for the channel, and C, because I'm a fan. I will get Chris Bosh at some point because he's one of the few things I actually want to spend MT on right now. What am I doing? No dunk. Dope D, you want to see me in the park on the rack? Yeah, man. Send me a friend request to this account. We can get in the streets. Get Matt Skizzy out there too. Ooh, Clyde. I knew Hakeem was gonna be a jerk, so we'll just get some threes with Bol, since Hakeem wants to be captain, help defense. I tell you what, I can definitely feel that the Larry Hughes it needs that speed, you know. Like I can just feel that sluggishness to the character. He did not dunk. Yeah, I'll try to quick through STS. But if he doesn't dunk off this last quick through STS, then he's hitting the bench. I will probably take him into a triple threat, maybe. And we're gonna go back to this. Actually, let's do that now. We're gonna go back to Bol since he's almost done. Oh, this bum. Did you see this bum? That's tough. I might have to put a dunk shoe on him and maybe get a dunk coach. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I want the Kareem card. I got to see how this Olajuwon card plays, because I have a feeling he's going to be really good. And if the Olajuwon card is really good, then I'm probably not going to mess with the Kareem. Even though, again, Kareem is one of my favorite players, but his card is just so pricey. Wow, this Larry Hughes does not move well before he's evil, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I was thinking about the GOAT Kareem thing, even though I honestly think the cheesiest thing Kareem could do is play defense the way he does and hit corner threes. Now, he doesn't have the highest corner three rating, so if he had like a 90 corner three and no range extender, then I wouldn't even care about, you know, any new Kareems at all. I wouldn't even care. I'd just be like, all right, whatever. But because his three-point rating isn't that high, while I do think he has a makeable corner three, I would rather he had a super duper reliable corner three, just to stay consistent the way the game is. That having been said, yeah, I do want the golden card. But I'm hearing really, really great things about this Elijah. I don't even remember the rest of this guy's Evo. I'm looking for the dunk. You still think Dimer is nice on centers? Yeah, I think Dimer is great on centers and great in general. Especially when you've got guys like Kareem on the court who don't have that 93-point shot. Dimer can really buff their ability to hit the three ball. Get it? Yeah. Shot clock cheese. So obviously I'm just running through, doing the ball Evo thing. At this point, fast breaks, always passes the ball. Take the three here. Oh, no. 5 steals, 23s. Okay, 350 points. Okay, so it's still worth it to play him. Man, those. Oof. I got to figure something out with the dunks. Because the funny thing is, because he's also a little sluggish, and the less stamina you have, the less chances there are you're going to dunk. It's like, even running with him to do the dunk is like, I would love to do it, but would he love to do it? Curry who? Steph Curry? Steph Curry already has an Opal. I mean, Steph Curry's not going to get any better than he is, man. Like, there's no way to make Steph Curry without him being a defensive liability. And he's already, honestly, his pink diamond is as good offensively as his Opal. So if you want to play with Steph Curry, just play the pink diamond. I mean, I think the Opal's probably pretty affordable. Or if you want the Intimidator, get the Opal. But at the end of the day, Steph's going to Steph. Why are you pushing me, Ori? I have no idea where Dwyane Wade went. I didn't even know who was supposed to be guarding that guy. Yeah, the lack of a duo is weird. Like the lack of the Splash Brothers of all people not getting a duo is definitely very, very strange. Wow. I don't know if 2K21 will be pushed back. Because think about it, with 2K, there's also the option. So, okay, and this is just opinion. There's not insider info. When it comes to 2K, there's certain things. Well, okay, this part isn't really good. There's certain things that you can do logistically that you can do from home, and there's certain things that logistically you cannot do from home, right? So, for instance, all of the behind the scenes, like roster stuff in terms of balancing characters, stats, the way they move, motion system, anything that's done exclusively on the computer, they can do from home. What they cannot do from home, first and foremost, is mocap. So for the kind of mocap that's for new animations, which is crucial, they could theoretically do that in a COVID-19 environment by, I should have shot that. They could do that in a COVID-19 environment by making sure the people who were there were tested and just doing like what the UFC does, where it's like, all right, well, we're gonna have a limited crew, limited people doing this stuff, but after this amount of days, we're gonna have this many people mocapped, right? Okay, so that takes away the most important mocap, which is for the individual animations. The next most important mocap is, I can't believe Hakeem went to guard me at half court. That's crazy. The next most important mocap for them is the My Career stuff. Keep in mind, My Career is not just the story mode. It's also, the face capture for all of like the side people and all that other stuff, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes in locker room. So My Career, being the central hub of the game, is the thing most in danger of the situation, because you can't get any real acting work done without having a bunch of people in the room, right? Like if you got a guy mocapping for a dunk, that's one thing, because it's just him, the person with the camera, and the technical people, theoretically. But if you got, what do you call it? If you have people acting in the same room, then you got the actors, you need the director in there, you need, the technical people. There's more technical people required. There's staging people, lighting people. Like there's a whole lot of stuff that goes in with the acting stuff. So if they can't get in the studio for that, the My Career story mode will be delayed. So now, does that mean that 2K as a whole has to be delayed? Well, let's just say first and foremost, you guys, the My Team community, is completely unaffected by the My Career stuff. So My Team could theoretically come out on time without any of these other issues, except for one, and that would be if you're able to get the rookies in for scanning and mocapping. So if they're able to scan and mocap the rookies, they can release a version of 2K that is different than what we're used to, but still very much a completed 2K game. So that's my answer to the delay with 2K, is they can, and when I say delay, I mean, at least by October. If it's, because that's the old release date. So if they're out by October, then it's whatever. I don't really consider that a delay, because September is kind of a recent, past couple of years thing. Hakeem being a jerk. Not letting me live. Try this again. Yeah, he doesn't run it well. That's what's annoying too, is like he's not even getting super open. But yeah, that's the thing. Keep in mind, all of these companies want to make the launch window for next gen. So they all want to be out by holiday 2K21. So Vincent Grenier, if you guys are in the chat, says he thinks it's very likely that we see a delay until November, and then they'll follow the NBA cycle. The NBA, we don't know what the NBA is going to do, right? So if the NBA picks up in August or something, then the playoffs continue through November. 2K is going to want to release while that's happening. You know, imagine 2K releasing at the end of the NBA Finals. I can hear Ronnie 2K choking on $ right now. That'd be like the best advertisement they ever had. The NBA Finals, the most highly rated of all NBA competition, is happening, and your game is being flashed in between every commercial. He really doesn't want to dunk. Oh, nice. $239, that's a good price. Solid price. If I didn't love Blake so much, I could probably trade him for Bosh straight up, but I'm just a fan. Man, this card is getting on my nerves, guys. He does not want to dunk. That dunk Evo, we're gonna put a shoe on him after this. Even though I don't know how much of a big deal 45 to 43 is. I like how Bol is just like, I'm out here, buddy. I help him. Everybody's helping too. That's what's crazy. He helped off Blake. How disrespectful. You gotta slow release. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I don't even think 2K knows. Because, so you guys know, you know, I'm a comic book artist, which means I worked in production. I've also worked on like big production projects and stuff. And the reality of the situation is like, these are real deadlines that they don't know if they're going to hit as much as they would have known before, because people are working from home and that makes them less reliable, right? So even 2K, whatever plan they have on the whiteboard, that might change, which is why it's on the whiteboard, so they can erase it. So I wouldn't say it's an inevitable delay, and I don't even know if they're willing to accept that delay. I can tell you that they're working very hard on the game to make the deadline right now. That's the word on the street. Yeah, Project, let me know how that goes, man. I think if you can get his dunk up to a 50, especially if you can get him in the takeover, maybe he'll start dunking then. Right now, he's getting on my nerves. This is cracking me up. It's funny because he does layups like a card that cannot dunk. Like, you know how some cards, they got, you know, a good layup package? He's doing layups as if he's trying to dunk and simply is not athletic. I didn't make it back. I was trying to see if oh my God. What is happening right now? They're double teaming him because he has 20 points. He has big man dunks. Oh, that's actually a good clue. So that means that his dunk radius is really small. Oof. Oh, he has lock. Takeover. Oh my goodness. First of all, Larry Hughes with lockdown takeover. Come on now. I wanted to look at his stats here. So his dunk goes to 43, which means with a shoe, well, he's tired, so he's also getting minuses. So with a shoe, it'll get almost to 50. You're right. I'm gonna have to try and see about a dunking coach. Speed goes all the way up. So guys, that's what I was talking about there. You see the speed goes up 10 because it's lock takeover. You said, why did the market crash? I have no idea. For Giannis, you think it crashed for Giannis? Yeah, man, his dunk. That's what I'm saying. Like he has to get 20 dunks, but he only has a 43. Well, he has a 40 dunk rating. He's messing with my Bol Evo. So I'm gonna abandon it for now and go back to Bol. I'll figure out the dunk situation. Look at Ori. Look at this jackass Robert Ori. Look at this jackass Robert Ori. Guard your man. I mean, I want the assist, but guard your man. Mind your business. Baited. Oh, yo. This dunk thing is going to be a struggle. This is going to be a struggle. I didn't put that in the video. It should be fairly obvious, but if you got Bol, you coming up court, feel free to run a floppy, especially on these lower difficulty levels. You're almost guaranteed to hit that three-pointer. Especially since Kareem is going to guard me. I mean, Hakeem's going to guard me at the logo. Yeah, I could tell that Hakeem card probably would be good because he's literally running all over the place. You said his peak is nice? Yeah, tell me about that Bosh, man. That's why I was saying, like, I think the Bosh review or evaluation breakdown, whatever you want to call it, it depends almost entirely on his peekaboo speed. Like I know some people really hate the peekaboo and wham, but look, it's just a quick shot. Oh, yo, Clyde pitched that stupid layup. So guys, you can see what I'm talking about. Like, I got 15 assists with Bol running 4 out 1 in, and I'm really been messing it up with this stupid Larry Hughes. All right, I'm gonna look at the market real quick. So you guys are telling me it crashed. Who's really low? Oh, Mr. Incognito, I just saw your message. Is Diamond Dwyane Wade good? I think Diamond Dwyane Wade is good, yes. But my official recommendation would be, if you have never played with the Dwyane Wade card, try out the diamond. I mean the pink diamond. and the diamond to see how close they are. Because I think that's the only way to know if it's worth getting the diamond over the pink diamond. Because I think the pink diamond might be like that magical formula that allows him to be great. And by reducing, he has a reduction of, I didn't count it, but it was something between 20 to 40, more than 20. More than 20 attribute point reduction overall. And I'm just not sure if that's enough to take the edge off of him to where he plays small. Because that's, to me, that's one of the biggest things about Dwyane Wade. That we always talk about the quick shot and everything else, but he doesn't play small. That's the thing. All right, let's see this market crash. What y'all talking about? Ooh, Odom came way down. That's super affordable. J-Kid ended at 100, if that's real. Like I said, that's good that the J-Kid card is ending that low because he's not very good. Whoa, Hito crashed hard. Hey, that's good news if you don't have Hito because he's excellent. Yo, that MPJ, did he really crash that hard? Wow, Magic crashed. My shambles detector is going off the charts. If you did not sell what you was trying to sell, Crawford for 100K, Simmons, I mean, that could be a visual glitch. Whoa, is Bol that cheap? Wow. Well, buyer's market. I don't know why people always panic during a crash. It's just a buyer's market. It happens. It's all right. It's a buyer's market. So buy. That Blake super cheap. See, like, I don't have anything that I had planned on selling that has real value. So, you know, this doesn't really affect me at all. I mean, theoretically, before a crash, you could sell everything for profit, but Giannis ain't crashing. Wow, Taco Fall, 100K? Is that serious? That's crazy. Well, hey, the good news is, wow, look at that Bosh. How much you said you paid for Bosh? Shambles detected. Wow, that's a serious crash. AK mad cheap. I wonder how much that Opal Jordan bought for. Yeah, he's gonna, if you didn't sell this Michael Jordan, I'm sorry. Because that's a got him. Yusuf, I can't answer that question, man. I mean, it's a buyer's market, so I would say just build a team you really like. At the end of the day, don't pay $1 million MT for that Giannis card. But outside of that, build a really good team, you know? I mean, you can get your whole starting lineup for 500K right now and have, you know, basically be elite, except for T-Mac, right? Except for the King. Yeah. Everybody except for the King. But all right, y'all. Yo, thank you so much for rocking with me. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate all the feedback, the hoops talk, the Salvador. Nah, I didn't open no pack, Salvador. The two cards that I really wanted, one card I really wanted, Darius Miles, was really cheap. Because the other one I kind of wanted was AI, who was also dirt cheap. So, I mean, the set is actually pretty cheap to buy. except for Giannis. And if you pull packs thinking you're going to get Giannis, you haven't met my team yet. So, yeah, I just checked T-Max price. He's still 500K. So, yeah, so thank you so much for rocking with me, everybody. It was a real joy, a real pleasure talking hoops, talking 2K, talking the meta, real healthy debates, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys soon with more. I might stream some more spotlights to get through the rest of this, because we definitely getting Kobe this weekend. We getting Hakeem this weekend. And after this crash is over, once I get those 200 tokens, I'm going to sell everything. Hopefully this token market update is coming in with a big W soon, because as you can see, my token budget's getting kind of inflated here. And I'm getting ready to burn it. All right? I'll see y'all in a bit. Have a great day, great weekend. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.